what matters most is that these two gentlemen spent Saturday evening with me, 3 dudes on a date on Saturday night. We obviously could have been out there slaying puss like incredible chads like we are. But do I dare bring up Cavendish? Do I dare bring up, because that is a point of contention, right? Of that matter attracts matter, right? That disproves gravity, right? Like I'm a very large fat man, very attractive young, but not young. Why did I say young? That's creepy. Very attractive thin women are often attracted to me. But the let's actually not go down that. Let's not go down that road. It's probably too complicated. I want to let people.
Yeah, because everything's electrostatic. It's way stronger than gravity's claimed to be.
Yeah,
but they shield for electrostatic.
If you have a lot of questions like that, it's like, you know, we can have a conversation in the future, man, whether it's streamed or not.
It's maybe down the rabbit hole too far.
Flat Earth pilots, ask any pilot if the Earth is flat, they'll laugh in your face.
I know.
They all take great circle routes. They take great circle routes that are.
Can a circle exist on a flat Earth?
My wife is a pilot.
No, a great circle.
Does anybody want to talk to me? My wife's a pilot.
Yeah, the G thing. Bring her in.
Come on, tough guy.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace, and I see a whole army of my countrymen, but they'll never take our freedom!
It's Wednesday, July 10th, and we've got more Flat Earth for you. How you doing this evening, brother?
I'm great. I'm excited for tonight. Great intro video again off the top with gross characters.
Very gross. Yeah, we're going to be getting into, I didn't even know who this Quarterling character is. You picked up a few things about him just before we went live, but yeah, there was this big debate between Professor Dave, quote unquote Professor Dave, and Witsit doesn't get it. And so we've been busy covering this final experiment stuff, and we really haven't even had time to go through this. But now that we're going through this a little bit late, we're all going to be able to see how the narrative interweaves, and that this was all a scripted rollout. Everything from the Dean Odell and the Pastor Locke character, Greg Locke, to this debate with Professor Dave and the mention of the final experiment and all that kind of stuff. It all ties together, and there's a couple key talking points that come out of this debate with Professor Dave regarding, we've got we see too far and geocentrism are a couple of big buzzwords that we're going to be covering a lot, and yeah, a whole bunch of other things. What else do you have to say about this?
Yeah, so, you know, for me, what I want to say is, like, everybody get ready. This is 2024. We've got the top globe earther, Professor Dave, and the top flat earther. They're saying Witsit doesn't get it. And this should be riveting. You know, since the debate we had with Red's Rhetoric, you know, there's been a lot of time for people to improve on those facts. What was it? 8, 10 points we brought out? That if you're in a debate and you don't use those 10 talking points, something's not right with you. The work's done. I think Witsit gets maybe one of them, talking about the precession of a gyroscope when flying to Antarctica. On a sphere, it should flip upside down. All right. If it's unassisted and it mechanically holds its original position. When you start flying in North America, by the time you get to the bottom of the Earth, the gyro should be upside down. So I'm excited to hear the debate talking points and to see at what level the two top sides are working off of. The character in question, what was his name? The guy that's hosting it, The Quartering. This guy's been shared all over the internet, all of the shield channels. Some of the most disgusting things I've ever seen and heard. SJW, you know, words that I'm not even going to say. So I was shocked to hear that they did this great debate on this channel, not Jaren's. Jaren's the debate guy. And so, yeah, everybody get your popcorn out, get out some, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy, and sit back with us. And we're going to go through this and try to do it in a calm way where we can talk about, like, the PSYOP. So you brought up Dean Odell and Greg Locke. So in that debate, the final experiment character coincidentally was there. And as Greg Locke challenged Dean Odell to go to Antarctica, he looked over at where Will was sitting in the audience. We have another person who was there that filmed it, and we knew exactly at which direction Greg would have had to look. Now you've got the final experiment, Will Doofus, out here saying that it was just coincidental that he happened to be there and that he happened to state that. So we're seeing all these different PSYOP characters all linking together coincidentally. And at the last time I checked, I'm not a coincidence theorist. Okay. I'm a analyst of reality, right? And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to look at some patterns. I'm excited to be here. Again, I'm going to try to not get too angry because these guys are just gross. It's gross.
Yeah, we're going to be going through it. And so we're going to put a big bow on this debate and put it all into context for y'all, and show you some things that we've documented along the way as well. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
I try to look the
And we are back. Hopefully my mic sounds good.
It seems to be going okay. Mine might have been a bit too loud, and I was also yelling. And, yeah, that song was for all three of character cheater liars profiting off of deceptions, especially Professor Dave. And this quartering guy, it's just like I said, you couldn't have picked a more disgusting character to put up onto the screen tonight. That song was just for you, the quartering.
So this was posted 3 weeks ago. And if we look here, it says it originally streamed on June 15th on the quartering. So we're just going to watch it from Professor Dave here. It's an hour 45 long. We're going to be going through most of the first hour of it. And so, yeah, we want to pick apart and dissect pretty much this whole thing. And to start off, I mean, what do we have on the screen here? This guy is sitting in front of his toy shelf, where he's got a doll back here, and he's.
So let's talk about this real quick. What Jason's brought up on the screen here. He's got the sheeple hat on. We're going to go through more. What is this? Hopath? I don't know what that book is. There's some kind of a doll, like a Barbie doll, to the left or the right of him. So again, you see this same common practice with these characters. They're children. They've got toys. They've got inappropriate things in public places, and way too interested in things that children like dinosaurs, outer space, and dolls. When I see this stuff, I know exactly what I'm getting into.
Yeah, the American flag is always a tell that you're probably looking at a New World Order agent.
And video games, like a 40-something-year-old man. It's okay if you want to play video games, that's fine. But if your job is to deal with these video games, it really makes me question the intellectual level of these characters. And this guy's got SJW tactics mixed in with promoting in weird ways on certain different aspects. So, the entire thing is just disgusting to me. If people want to do their own research on this quartering character, please have at it. I bet you there's tons of stuff. If only we could get Mr. Robot on the case, we could get this guy off air as quick as possible.
All right. So let's start going through this. And as always, stop me anytime you want, brother.
So I'm going to bring them in, and then we'll start with first Dave. You may know him as Professor Dave Explains. He's linked. All of his channels are linked. He's on YouTube. He should also be on Rumble because, reasons. Dave, welcome. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. And then we've got Austin. You might know him as Witsit on Twitter. He's got a YouTube channel. I assume, I don't know, you should have a Rumble channel too, but their YouTube channels are both linked in the description below. I recommend you hear them both out. And I guess we're going to talk about flat Earth, and we're going to start the clock at the 7-minute mark for Dave, if you're ready.
Sure. Yep. Just present here. How do
on the bottom?
Oh, share screen, right?
Yep.
So Dave's going first, right?
Yep.
So the challenge here is that so everybody just about in the world thinks the Earth is a spinning sphere with water stuck to it, people upside down in the Antarctic. Witsit gets it, doesn't get it, is a flat earther that argues for the electric universe with all this toroidal bunt cake type theories.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so Dave, when you're in a debate, if you lead, you get to set the tone, and then we'll see who closes as well.
I can actually drop out too if we need more room on the screen. Yep, there's that.
Can we see the slides?
Yep,
you got it all.
Yep.
Okay.
So
ready?
I'm gonna shut up. I mean, I'll keep it to. So I got 4:37 now on my clock. So at
cool.
Well, just flip to 4:38. So Go ahead.
Okay. So we're here to talk about flat Earth versus globe Earth. Austin is going to pretend to defend the flat Earth. He will do so with two tactics, which I will undermine right now. First, he will pretend that the default position is that it's just totally flat. Just observe and see how flat it is. So the burden of proof is on the globies to prove it is a globe.
Hold on. So he's using. Dave is taking his intro to say Austin's go-to.
Yeah, he already knows what Witsit's going to be saying, so he wants to get out ahead of it. He's going to, yeah, because he knows what Witsit's going to come with, right?
That's crazy. It's not the way that you would ever. It's like Eminem rapping about himself shooting himself in the foot and all that.
How do you know what your opponent's going to do already? Right?
That's false. All of observations since antiquity have only make sense on a spherical Earth. Looking at the sun, moon, stars only makes sense on a sphere. That's how we've known the Earth is a sphere for 2,500 years. Further,
so he's taking it all the way back to Pythagoras. But you got to remember that geocentrism didn't even come in until the 1600s through the Vatican. And then it wasn't until the mid-1800s that it morphed into heliocentrism. So they tried to give credit to Pythagoras, but really in the early 1900s and even up until the moon landing hoax, most people thought they were on a fixed and stationary Earth. And the only people that talked about a spinning Earth were Kabbalists. There were people from the Vatican and Pythagoreans, right?
Yeah, so the Pythagoreans, you heard that correct. They didn't eat meat, and they were this cult that was obsessed with math and gematria and Kabbalism. And what Jason did explain here is that so geocentrism was the Vatican's position, that the Earth was a sphere and stationary, and that the whole entire rollout of this flat Earth versus globe Earth debate, they released a movie called The Principle with astrophysicist from the Vatican, Robert Sangenius, who was Bob Nodell and Jaron Campanella's first Globebusters interview. And Witsit doesn't get it. Parrot quotes, data mines tons of information from that documentary, because Jason and I believe that they're going to go to that we live on a geostationary ball Earth after the Antarctic demonstration. That's what we think we see.
Furthermore, if you deny a globe, most things don't make any sense. Day, night, seasons, weather, tides, Coriolis, geological phenomena.
And you don't have to assume a globe to assume weather or tides. In fact, tides is a massive debunk of the globe. Coriolis isn't experienced. Volcanoes don't prove you're on a globe, nor do earthquakes. Technology absolutely does not prove that you're on a globe. Line of sight and altitude. This is going to be something we're talking about a lot. The distance that you can see to the horizon, and gravity, right? Gravity, you got to have that.
Like volcanoes, earthquakes, technology, communications, simple things like line of sight increasing with altitude, terrestrial motion, gravity. None of it makes sense if you deny that the Earth is a globe. Speaking of gravity in particular, I know that Austin will be very eager to talk about his electric gravity bullshit. Here are some reasons why that is stupid. He cannot derive 9.81 meters per second squared. He cannot explain why this value is based on Earth's mass. He cannot explain why G varies precisely with Earth's radius and your altitude. Despite electromagnetism being both attractive and repulsive, he cannot make anything significantly massive fall up. And no, his little middle school science project with a piece of styrofoam doesn't count. He cannot explain why no discrepancy. There's no.
He's debunking something that Witsit hasn't done yet?
Well, he did use an electrostatic force to make a little piece of styrofoam ball. No, I think he did do it.
What? He hasn't even had his chance. This is Dave's intro, Jason.
Oh yeah, I know. He's debunking everything Witsit's going to talk about before he talks about it.
Excuse me? You know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. But I happen to smell a con when I see one. So that's the second time. First, he was telling what Witsit's debate about perspective we see too far. Now he's already debunking Witsit's scientific model, his demonstration.
Yeah, it was his default position at first, and now...
And guess what Professor Dave and all of his friends are going to do one day? They're all going to say, we were wrong.
Earth is a sphere, but gravity is actually due to magnetism. And they're going to adopt what Witsit is saying, but it's going to be on a sphere. And Witsit's going to Antarctica, and he's going to be the one that says, yep, the sun circled around my head. Of course, we live on a sphere. I was upside down, and the sun and I was spinning around, they're going to say.
Yep.
No discrepancy in the motion of objects with differing properties, paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic, cannot explain why there's no difference in activity over differing substances of different conductivities, grass, sand, water, concrete. He cannot explain why things fall at the same rate regardless of elevation. His electrostatic field dissipates with elevation until it disappears, yet things still fall. So, Austin, this is the default position. This is the position that...
Did he say things fall?
Yeah.
Come on, things fall. This guy uses things falling as a ball Earth proof.
Yep. That's what he's...
I mean, how stupid and absolutely retarded is that statement? Has anybody ever seen a mountain pull a pebble to it? Ever?
Yep.
As soon as you can show me a mountain pulling a pebble to it, which should be simple in your model, you need to shut up and stop acting like a clown fool in front of everybody just because things fall due to their weight, density, and the way that buoyancy works. Heavier things float. How does that work in your model? It's just so stupid. I'm sure Austin will have answers for all that, right? Or no?
Yeah, and why is it that your default position has to be a CGI picture, right?
Yeah, where's the real picture of the Earth? Show us.
That correlates with all observations and every nook and cranny of our knowledge about the physical world. If you would like to make a case for the contrary, feel free to do so, and make sure to bring quantitative predictions. The second tactic he will use is because he knows the flat Earth is so unbelievably indefensible, he will try to obfuscate by turning it into a discussion of geocentrism versus heliocentrism.
Now, believe it or not, this is really taking place. You will hear guys like Witshit saying the Earth is geocentric. Right? Well, geocentric was the first thing that the Vatican came up with in the 1600s, and that has Earth as a ball at the center with the luminaries rotating around it like this. That's geocentrism. Heliocentrism puts the sun at the center with the luminaries rotating around it. So you're going to hear Witsit and a whole bunch of other people. QNF just did the same thing. Will Duffy just did the same thing. They're calling a flattened stationary Earth geocentric, and that's such a shilly thing to do.
Yeah, they're false equivalencies, right? Big time.
He does this because he relies on using word salad about esoteric topics in modern physics, like relativity and certain experiments.
Hold on.
Already setting on the stage, right?
So, if it's word salad, I hope this, what's his name? Dave Farina? I hope he's got Caesar dressing for his Roman nonsense that he's pulling out here. Hey, the Club of Rome's going to fall, bro. Keep cheering it on.
From the 19th and 20th centuries. Unfortunately, though, for him, geocentrism utilizes a spherical Earth. That's right, the Ptolemaic geocentric model that was used from antiquity until Copernicus uses a spherical Earth. So, if he would like to change the topic of the debate completely from flat Earth versus round Earth to geocentrism versus heliocentrism, I'm willing to entertain that if he first admits that the Earth is a sphere. And he has to mean it. If he is unable to make that concession, I will continually drag him back to very simple, naked eye observations and basic logic that prove the Earth is a sphere without any understanding of physics whatsoever. Number one, the observations of the stars. In the northern hemisphere, the stars rotate counterclockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they rotate clockwise. This makes absolutely no sense on the pizza land. Why would the sky be rotating in opposite directions, just depending on where you're standing? Also, why can't we all see the same stars? If you have a line of sight to a star, you should be able to see it. Both of these make perfect sense on a rotating sphere. You have two celestial poles, and the Earth is rotating, and then we can't see through the Earth. That's why you can't see certain stars. So in the north, can't see Southern Cross. In the south, can't see Polaris. Speaking of the Southern Cross, in order to get the pizza land, he has to take the point that is the South Pole and unwrap it to get the perimeter of the pizza. And that results in total absurdities like these three people all looking at the Southern Cross at the same time, despite looking at completely different directions. That makes no sense at all. Again, on a sphere makes perfect sense where south actually means something, and they're all looking at the South Pole. Number 2, day and night in regions of illumination. This is very bad for the Flurfies because in the winter months, they need to take the sun all the way out to the periphery of the disk, and that would result in most of the pizza being dark everywhere most of the time. Of course, in reality, the opposite is true. The edge of Antarctica in these winter months is illuminated almost all the time. So how does the light get all the way over there? And then you don't even have to go all the way to Antarctica. You can go to Ushuaia, which is at the tip of South America, where people live, and that must be illuminated around 70% of the trajectory, while places like Point Barrow...
What is this?
Well, he's showing
A debate? Okay, continue.
he's showing Ushuaia and how if you're going to have 17 hours of daylight
Yeah,
in Ushuaia, you got to have something like this.
sure.
But that
We've debunked this model for 8 years now. It's great. Solid. Hundreds of times, hundreds of ways.
yeah, and this is one of the ones that we've used. Yeah.
This is the globe earther. So all he provided us are for evidence. All that he provided for us was the different direction of the star rotations. That's it.
That's
And
it.
he's gone straight to the straw man map. See, the problem here, everybody that's tuned in right now, if this was a real honest debate, there would be other models of reality interjected in, because all Dave can do is point at this stupid AE map and debunk it using stuff that we debunked 8-9 years ago. Right? It's not new that people looking to the south outer regions of this stupid AE projection would all be looking in different directions and seeing the southern crux. That we've been talking about that for over 8 years. So here's the true thing here is Dave isn't proving that there's curvature. He's not proving that there's motion of Earth. He's not explaining why gyros don't process. He's not explaining why eclipses don't work on a sphere. He's not explaining why 90-270 on the equinoxes with a tilted Earth at a 23.5 degree or whatever 6.66 degrees they want to tilt the Earth. It's impossible. And if you go back a few clicks, please. And this is the first time I want everybody to know I've waited. This is live. I haven't seen any of this before. Just the last quarter of this debate I heard this morning. I haven't seen any of this, okay? When he shows the three people on the bottom of the sphere supposedly pointing at, I guess it would have been there, one click back. So there's the first example. I knew this was the way that the AE map was debunked almost 9 years ago. I knew that. So the three characters here, or we see two, they're supposedly looking down. The problem with this is, Professor Dave, is if we start doing these types of measurements, your entire sphere Earth falls to shambles because they actually don't intersect. If you were to go where the pink character is and you were to input the data from sun or moon calc and you were to both triangulate and try to look at that object in the sky, those lines aren't going to they're never going to actually meet, right? Nor is he even setting this up in the correct way. We need to see actual two-scale model of the sphere with relation to the stars in our own solar system, branched out to the galaxy, branched out to the, give us half of the universe, at least. Not three guys standing on the bottom of a cartoon. And why didn't you use a picture of a real sphere Earth? Why can't you zoom in and show us people upside down like this, right? In your reality. So for me, right off the bat, this is an absolute clown show.
It is.
They're all looking at the South Pole. In the winter would result in most of the pizza being dark everywhere most of the time. Of course, in reality, the opposite is true. The edge of Antarctica in these winter months is illuminated almost all the time. So how does the light get all the way over there? And then you don't even have to go all the way to Antarctica. You can go to Ushuaia, which is at the tip of South America, where people live, and that must be illuminated around 70% of the trajectory, while places like Point Barrow, Alaska, experience 24-hour night. In order to try to explain this, they have to make light do things that it doesn't do, and in fact, flat earthers do not ever try to explain this at all. It gets even worse if you go all the way to the South Pole. There is a 24-hour sun there, which completely obliterates the flat Earth, as flat earthers themselves admit. And that is why a rich person lately has been offering fully paid trips to the...
Yeah.
So just to point out a rich person, yeah, that's Will Doofus. right? The supposed pastor, right? But he doesn't know he's on vacation a lot. He doesn't know when he'll be preaching. So I just want to point out here, this argument only works if you set up a straw man argument. Okay, again, like I interjected, if it was a true debate about our reality, you wouldn't only have the pizza map model, which if we were to be more men here, if Professor Dave, I can't even believe he calls himself that, or the quartering had any brains in their head, they would go, the AE map projection was actually a spherical globe Earth squished, and the southern region of Antarctica was actually stretched out to infinity around the outside of the map. So virtually all it is a bird's eye view so that people can conceptualize the way that the sphere Earth would look looking from the top down. That's why it was created, okay? Do your research in cartography, learn what the projections are made for and why they are. And the AE map was one made for a very immature young group of people learning. It wasn't a complex stereographic reality where you actually reference and show how spheres could be represented both flat and in a spherical shape, right? There's only one pole, but they're not being intellectually honest. Witsit doesn't get it, or Witshit doesn't get it, because he is arguing for a globe. The AE map projection, I'm telling you one more time so everybody can hear me correctly, is a squished sphere with the southern region of the Antarctica stretched out to infinity around the outside of the globe, looking down from the north so that you can understand and get into an idea of how the land masses would work around a sphere. That's why you have the equator wrapping around in a circle. In no way is it actually distanced. It's completely non-equidistant. Right, because the lines of longitude and latitude, even on a sphere, they get smaller as they go to the poles. They don't get bigger like the AE map does. That's what I said. They stretched the southern part to infinity, and it's just there. So the only way that the AE map is used in reality to the world that we live in, or the one that they want us to believe in, is tracking the sun around the equator. Because again, they want you to believe that you're on top of a sphere looking down. And we've just begun this debate. They're both debating sphere models, but nobody is ever going to tell you that.
The South Pole, so that flat earthers can see the 24-hour sun, and they are all busy crapping their pants trying to make excuses to not go. Once again, on a globe Earth, this makes perfect sense. Day is when you're facing the sun. Night is when you're facing away.
I just want to point out with this graphic that this is what they show for the equinoxes, and you can see with the Earth being at a 23.5 degree tilt, at the equinoxes you could never ever have a 90 degree sunrise and a 270 degree sunset because they have this sideways to the sun. Now this right here is a solstice, a summer solstice for the north, tilted forward. This would be the only time you could actually have the same type of sunrise and sunset angles. The equinoxes, you couldn't.
So come on, people need to model this up. I don't want to get Jason to do nonsense cartoons like Jaren with his coffee cup caustic and stuff. But if you draw angle lines, look at this demonstration. The Earth is bigger than the sun in their scale. This is supposedly the top ball Earth professor in the world, showing you asinine, non-equivalent diagrams that don't have any relation to their so-called model. They need to start representing their model correctly. That's why, Jason, you brought it up with Doofus. You need to give us a correct model. When you come to your debate, you're not going to use our model. You're not going to use our model. So again, I just want you to point that out again, Jason. So if you draw a line from the equator with your pointer, because nobody can see mine, to the sun, you'd have to move the sun 90 million miles away anyways. You can't. So that angle right there is got to be 90 degrees on a compass with a circle around you and 270 degrees at the set. You can already see that the side on the left of the sphere is higher. It's considerably higher than the side on the right. That would give you a much different degree of angle looking down towards the sun. You understand? We really need to make this clear, because Professor Dave isn't going to be able to explain to you that it's impossible for everyone to measure 90-270 along a lateral line on the sphere.
No, not with it tilted like this at the equinoxes.
Pretty simple. Number 3, Southern Hemisphere causes trouble. For years, flat earthers have been pretending that there are no direct flights in the Southern Hemisphere. This is wrong. There are many. Sydney to Santiago is one of them. And this goes both ways, nonstop, in both directions over the Pacific Ocean. And then we have the Antarctica Cup Ocean Race, which is a boat race that circumnavigates Antarctica. They go all the way around every year. And neither of these things make an ounce of sense on a flat Earth. You would have to have, for the flight, the Sydney to Santiago takes this incredibly enormous arced path instead of going the straight line path, and neither of which could be done in 12 hours anyway. And then the boat race would have to go around the entire world, always steering away from Antarctica instead of towards it, which it doesn't do. So all of these observations are very extremely basic, intuitive ways to prove that the Earth isn't flat. Okay, these all obliterate the flat Earth. They prove without a doubt that the Earth is a sphere. Every single one of them does this. Austin is unable to discover.
No, these are all just takedowns of an impossible model. You haven't done anything to prove a globe.
Hang on. It's not an impossible model. This is the globe model we're looking at. I told everybody I want you to open your eyes tonight, and you're looking down at a sphere. Okay, so it actually, if they were to just zoom out, have the sun circling around the whole entire projection, you could represent how it would work. But it completely, you have to put this bottom of the sphere back together for it to actually be effective. But this is a sphere from a bird's eye perspective with the southern stretched out to infinity, Antarctica, right?
Yep.
Discuss any of these topics. He has no ability to explain any of these observations on a flat Earth, and so he will desperately try to pivot and turn this into a debate about geocentrism versus heliocentrism. Unfortunately, that's not the topic of the debate. If he wants to have that debate, that's totally fine. He must simply concede this debate that we're having now, admit that the Earth is a sphere.
It's all about geocentrism.
About that completely separate other topic about whether the spherical Earth moves or not. All yours, Austin.
Perfect. Hey, let me perhaps I should have defined, Austin, I'll give you an extra 60 seconds if that's okay with you, Dave, to define what flat Earth even is, or
gets an extra
not everybody in my audience
Come on.
Okay.
Watch what happens here. He doesn't get anything yet.
Oh, he doesn't say anything.
Watch.
I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. But,
you think so? Should we just go right to the 7?
That the Earth is flat. That's.
And so he brings up the coffee cup.
And the piss, huh?
Nope.
Yeah, okay. Just so everyone knows, but also that the Earth is at the center of the universe too, right? Is that one of those two things combined?
I mean, yeah, there is no universe if there's right. Okay, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Whatever.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. We'll just go right to the Dave's. Or I'm sorry.
Whoa, what happened?
He just left.
He just left. So this is the way it starts off. Witsit was going to get an extra 60 seconds. Then no, he doesn't get the extra 60. And then he fake leaves.
He left?
Well, he might have just, maybe he'll come back.
What?
He might have clicked the button.
That's the state.
Uh-oh. Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so they're setting it up like he's a doofus right from the get-go. Yeah.
He accidentally
Or they're trying to get people to think that he ran. He's afraid now.
closed the window.
He might have closed the window, yeah. He might have been trying to add something.
He probably tried to switch tabs to go to a...
Yeah, all right, there he is.
Something.
All right, I'll... There you go. There you go.
My bad.
No, you're good. I was like, debate over?
Just a
What?
dummy. He
So-
doesn't know how to do what?
Yeah, this is 9 minutes, 16 seconds in, and that's the first thing we is the first thing we got to hear from Witsit.
Okay, I'll shut up, and then so at 4:46, you have your 7.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't really make a PowerPoint, but I'll just use the classic one here if you can pop it up on screen for me. So yeah, it's
He didn't make one, but this is the classic one, I guess.
Is that even me?
Yeah, it's just the classic one. You just Google the classic flat Earth presentation.
our position is that the Earth is a geocentric stationary plane.
Geocentric. Do you see the problem there?
Why is he leading with geocentric Earth? I don't understand. That's crazy.
Yeah, Dave knew that he was going to say that It was geocentric, and the first thing he says is geocentric. Well, that is a globe. That is a globe with luminaries rotating around it. First created in the 1600s by the Vatican.
Or is he trying to say that he believes in flat Earth, but it's not rising? No, I don't understand why he keeps calling his flat Earth model geocentric.
Yeah, to shill.
This feeble attempt to separate the conversations is disingenuous. If the Earth is stationary, it's in the center of the universe. None of the kinematics or dynamics, even of geocentrism, is exclusive to sphericity. That is just a get-out-of-jail card because he will not be able to defend the claim that we're moving around the sun. To very quickly go through some of this, falsification is independent of replacement. And so what always happens is people don't defend the globe. They just want to ask millions of questions to the flat earthers. And somehow if a flat earther doesn't know the answer, then all of a sudden the globe model becomes true. And then, of course, the burden of proof is the one making the positive claim. And then shifting the burden is making the other person prove why your claim isn't true. So if I read a book and say all these fairy tales exist, I don't have to prove that unicorns don't exist. Very simple concept that gets overlooked consistently in this debate.
So the burden of proof thing that Professor Dave said the Witsit was going to do was the first thing he did, right? Burden of proof.
Oftentimes we get what's called a straw man fallacy. People say that this is what flat Earth is, and they point and laugh, and no one...
This is what the fake flat earthers promote Earth as. He'll say that nobody says that it's a flying pizza disc in outer space, but no, they say there's a dome over it, and they depict it with the stars like this, like it's out in outer space.
That I know thinks that it's a flat disk in a solar system. That's ridiculous. Hopefully we can prevent these, but these are the typical fallacies used. Of course, a straw man fallacy, which we just discussed, ad hom, attacking the person instead of the argument, credentials. Oh, you're not qualified to talk about this. Appeal to what everyone else thinks, appeal to authority, poisoning the well, begging the question, shifting the burden of proof. These are always used. Everyone was taught the Earth's a globe when they were young. That doesn't mean it's true. So let's just quickly go through the basic claims here. Claim one is that the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. The second claim is that the Earth is spinning, tilted, wobbling, revolving around the sun, shooting through the galaxy, that's then shooting through space. That is a positive claim. And then the third one is that the Earth is in the vacuum of space. The heliocentric model has the burden of proof for these claims. So attempting to remove the burden and pretend that it's just automatically granted to you at the beginning is not how logic works whatsoever. And then one would say, wait, isn't saying the Earth is flat a positive claim? It is, of course. And so then we would have the burden of proof, and we have fulfilled that, right? Actually, this right here is a specular reflection. Any convexity or concavity of the water, if it was curving, you wouldn't be able to...
So he uses words like specular reflection, reflectivity, convexivity, and this is supposed to make him sound smart. Right. No, he hasn't gone full word salad yet. He's going to do that later, but this is the type of thing that Witsit's known for.
Able to get a specular reflection because it will cause what's called a diffused reflection. If we move on here, we have actually verified the Earth is flat in many ways. Radio waves can be sent over 10,000 miles. Amateur records show that they're sent thousands of miles at all frequencies far beyond the geometric limitation of the globe. Here we have a distant mountains observed from 167 miles away at less than 1,000 feet. So the target hidden height should be almost or over 11,000 feet, but the mountain's only 12,000 feet. We should only be seeing roughly 1,000 feet of the mountain. Clearly that's not the case. Here we have another one, 160.
This is Canagoo. So let's go through this. He's saying that we see too far, and he's going to be showing all the examples that we've been showing are from a website called Beyond Horizons that was originally promoted by Jesuit Jaron, and it's a group of fake flat earthers that just put up pictures and false information about distances that we can see. So we'll go through how far we can actually see.
8 miles. Target hidden height is almost 12,000 feet, and the elevation is entirely 12,000 feet. So we should not see the entire mountain. This is a major problem because you're going to have a problem trying to invoke refraction here, and hopefully you do. This used to be the world record. Longest distance line of sight. Of course, that means you're a direct line of sight to what you're observing. The world record for the longest photo. Here we have a target hidden height of 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest mountain is 12,000 feet, which means that the mountain should have been thousands of feet below the The curvature, here's another one, 271 miles. Again, the entire mountain should have been obstructed by over 3,000 extra feet. Here's another one, 250 miles. You get the idea. Over and over, the mountain should be obstructed, except for just roughly 800 feet here. Here's another one, 241 miles. The entire mountain, almost the entire mountain, should be hidden. And then it goes on and on and on. Here is a very important observation everyone ducks away from. If you look in the top left here, you see you can't see the mountains. These are called Canigou Mountains. You cannot see the mountains. So when people say, can you see what you'd be able to see forever if the earth was flat? That's a ridiculous straw man. Even within a globe paradigm, you'd have to admit you can't see forever because of something called attenuation. The light gets absorbed into the medium. We cannot see the mountains until the sun gets behind it due to the intensity of the light from the sun. You now get a silhouette, and we can see the Canigou Mountains. These should have been completely obstructed. You can buy a plane ticket right now for 2 specific days of the year, and you'll know that you'll see the mountains because of a silhouette based on where the sun sets. So I guess refraction is just colluding with the calendar and with the atmosphere to make the earth look flat over and over. Of course, it's a silhouette. Refraction affects light, not the absence of light. Here to address his straw man about the geocentrism thing, these are projected onto a plane. These are literally azimuthal projections. So to say that it requires sphericity is ridiculous. Here we see that all the paths of the planets fit right within a ferrocell magnet torus field. Okay, what a coincidence. And to address this misnomer that sunsets are impossible on a flat.
Notice they have to type up here real sunset. I mean, without the real sunset up there, what would you think it is?
Earth, and they just go behind the curve of the earth. That is also not true. Here we see the sun disappearing above the horizon with a horizontal line.
Do you want to get into this now, or do you want to wait?
This
is Canigou, right?
No, this is a different one. Let's go ahead and wait until Professor Dave is responding to this, because
he's got his smug smirk on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Blocking the bottom of it far above the horizon. This is proof that the sun can disappear up above the horizon.
Proof that the sun can disappear? Oh, yeah. Witshit is starting to go gross with it.
Look at the crazy bag quality of this, too. Come on, it's 2024. Where's the 8K?
Is he postulating that the sun is shrinking and getting it smaller as it rotates above you in the sky above your head, like a circle?
Yeah, and it just disappears up in the middle of the sky like this, too, right?
Due to atmospheric conditions. Of course, we have tons of assumptions when it comes to the military that the Earth is flat. Specular reflection, again, I'm going to kind of speed through these, but specular reflection, you see that just a small concavity or convexity in the water actually causes what's called a diffused reflection. You'll see here in the left. So you actually need a flat surface.
Diffused, that's a complicated term, right? Diffused.
Oh, yeah, he's coming with some nonsense. So what Austin Witshit's doing there is trying to give you proofs for a globe. He's explaining how things work on a globe.
Yep.
Surface to have a specular reflection. We see these over long distances consistently.
Specular reflection?
So we'll just skip over here. So, and then of course, the globe claims that the horizon is a physical, tangible surface, and it is not. It's literally a horizon that is apparent. That's why it is where the sky appears to meet the ground. So here we can get into some of the specifics here.
Stop it. Pause it. It appears. No, it does. It does. So, yeah, it appears that the sun rises out of and sets into the ground. It appears that the stars rise and set into the ground. Rainbows appear to rise and then set into the ground, right? No, they all actually do that. You know, wake up, you're in a virtual reality, and everything that you do is being documented. And you want to have a good eternity, or do you want to have a bad one, guys?
Well, and this one's really bad right here. So the camera is going to rise up here, and he's going to say that the horizon always remains eye level, and you can literally watch these arrows drop as the camera's rising.
Here, but
yeah, the horizon
of course, also on a globe,
a
the horizon should drop down and away from you as you increase altitude. What we see in reality is it rises with us, which is a major problem.
His arrows were actually dropping.
Well, yeah, because the higher you go, the larger of circle sight you have, which actually changes the angle and makes it lower to the distance that you can see to, because it spreads out further.
Yep.
So, long story short, the entire globe model depends on the accuracy of the claimed radius value, and if that radius value is wrong, the entire model is wrong. So, in closing, what I'm going to say is, again, falsifications independent of replacement. The literal default position is that the Earth is a stationary plane. The globe says, well, yeah, but it's so big it looks flat, and it's so big that based on the angular rate of motion, you can't tell that it's moving. Could that be true in theory? Sure, but that is a concession that the default position, based on empirical evidence and observation, is that the Earth is a stationary topographical plane, hence why we utilize it as such for all military technology, etc. Therefore, to make a claim that everything is antithetical to that, you objectively and logically have the burden of proof.
Antithetical.
We'll get into a lot of the things that he mischaracterized my arguments regarding throughout the debate, hopefully. But yep, there you go.
Okay, thank you for the opener. I want to give you both. What do you think? Like, I assume there's one or two things that both of you have
Hold on,
said
can we get a pause? So I'm going to put in the chat. I can't believe that. That was the weakest. That was the weakest. So if anybody actually wants to see how you debate against Sphere Earth, I put in the chat a link to the video that Jason and I created when we went against Red's Rhetoric and Sean Hufford. That's 2 Ds, the end of Hufford. And I want people to understand that he didn't go over anything. If you think that he just debunked the Sphere Earth. So, okay, curvature. Did he talk about curvature?
Not really. It was just we see too far. Then he was showing things that were saying 160, 254 miles. Like,
so,
yeah.
Okay, curvature. Okay, second, the properties of water. If you line up a bunch of tubes connected with a beaker and you pour the water into that, you will notice that the water rises in each different shape that it's put into until it is perfectly level. That doesn't mean curvel, like these shill baltards are going to tell you, yeah, level means curved, plane means curved. No, we can literally take the water and we can level things perfectly precisely. There's no curve to the water level, okay? More globe debunks, right? How far you can see is proportionate to the distance of the horizon, so that it's a moot point in the debate, right? Because you can only see so far on a sphere of the radius size that the Earth is purported to be, and also on a flat plane, you can only see so far. See Mall Angel video for better understanding of that on Jason's channel. Mall Angel debunks global view of reality. Then there's the gyroscope. The precession of the gyroscope, if used on a flight around the sphere, should actually process 360 degrees, right? Just like if you were to go to the supposed magnetic poles of the sphere Earth, your compass should turn 360 degrees as you walk around that. How come he didn't bring up the telescope measurement that was done to prove that it was the stars that are moving and not the Earth? That's very important. River proof. How rivers flow from inland into the ocean, and on a sphere Earth, rivers would have to flow uphill. Right? If you go into a debate against the sphere Earth and you don't use those talking points, you're deceiving people, and you're absolutely not trying to win a debate in any shape, way, or form. That was Witsit gets shit. That was garbage. I was excited to hear at what level, the highest level, this guy's being flown to Antarctica because of his genius intellect, and he didn't give one good debunk. He didn't talk about the things I just mentioned. And I would like any globe earther to answer any of those questions that I just threw down.
Yeah, and now it's Dave's turn again, and he's going to come in and just light up the witch shit.
Strongly disagree with other. Do you want me to open it up to just give you both a 5-minute period for rebuttal?
No,
or do you just want to leave it open?
We can dig into it.
Okay.
They don't even have a format.
No.
What was the first particular topic maybe that Dave you want to poke around?
Well, Austin is denying this idea. He's insisting that the default position is the flat plane, empirically, observably, everything observable. Okay, so explain the observations from antiquity that I told you. How are you getting the sky to rotate in opposite directions depending on where you're standing? Let's start with there. How observable is that? How does that fit with your default?
This is what always happens. Instead of providing evidence that the surface is curving, you're saying, well, but if it's not, then how does this happen?
No curved surface. You said the default position, flat plane. I'm asking you on your flat plane, Explain the observations of the celestial sphere. In the north, you get counterclockwise rotation. In the south, you get clockwise rotation. Explain that to me on your...
I gotta expose another thing that... What are we gonna call Dave? We got to come up with Dave needs a better name than Farina. Dave, I don't know. Somebody in the chat, help us come up with a better name if Jason can. So you have a hemispherical heavens, Dave. Unless anybody can show me a complete spherical heaven around them with actual visible evidence where you can take a sextant, Dave, and show me the bottom of your celestial sphere. If you're going to talk correctly out here in front of the whole world, let all of heaven and all of earth and all of creation witness what I'm saying. You can only witness and observe a hemisphere in the heavens, okay? That is cut and cross by a plane, a flat plane cuts and crosses the hemisphere, and it's time that these guys, and none of you are allowed to use that model. Sorry, that's our model. That's our model. Our model is a Earth with a circle of sight on a plane, and it's a hemisphere, Dave. Sorry. I know you want to have your full sphere. These guys, these men love balls here. These guys, that's what they're obsessed with: toys, spheres, dinosaurs, and they won't ever tell you the truth. They will obfuscate, lie, and deceive to make money, for fame. This other guy, this quartering guy, is a disgusting guy. You should hear this stuff he says, and he's supposedly married. I mean, what man comes online and disrespects his own wife and talks about himself like that? It's beyond me. Again, when Dave says the spherical heavens, what did he call it? What's the big catchphrase that they like to use? The heavenly sphere? What is it called?
Celestial sphere.
Celestial sphere, right? So it's only a hemisphere that anyone's ever seen. And I want that to be stamped into reality for everyone to witness, because you can't show me an actual sphere of stars. You can only show me half. That's it. Anywhere we go on the plane, I'm only going to see half of a sphere.
Unless if he can show us the stars under his feet. So this is where the mockery really begins here.
On your default flat plane. Explain it.
Yeah, so the counterclockwise and clockwise direction is super simple. It's based on looking different directions. Your better question is, why does it go around a singular point, is what you're trying to say?
No. I'm asking about the direction. I'm asking about the direction.
Just looking opposite directions would make them go the opposite directions. They all go east to west.
If you put a clock on your ceiling, which way can you face to make the hands go counterclockwise? Tell me which way you can face.
Not analogous. The stars drop.
No, it is though, because the hands on a clock. The hands on a clock.
You don't get it,
right?
You don't get it. The stars drop due to perspective, so we're actually looking out towards them, not directly up.
Did you know that? Depends on your latitude, right? Depends on your latitude. If you're at the equator, they're going from horizon to horizon.
Wait, do you agree that if I was looking out and something was spinning one way, and then I looked at it from the other direction, it'd look like it was spinning the opposite way?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Okay, that's why I said. You just said, if I put a clock on the ceiling, right, which way, I'm asking you, which way you just said, if something is spinning one way and you look a different way, it'll spin another way. So I'm asking you, put a clock on the ceiling. Which way can you face that'll make the hands appear to go counterclockwise?
You obviously don't comprehend what I'm saying, Dave.
I think you don't understand what I'm saying.
Do you agree that things will appear to drop due to perspective?
Why are you talking about perspective?
Because you don't understand it. So
yeah, this will be in the video.
But you already,
you've already covered to obfuscate.
No, I'm not. If the stars are above me on a plane and I look out, they're going to look like they're dropping down, which means I'm looking out at. You don't even understand.
Here comes the quartering too, right? He's got to come back on for this.
Which way is this turning? Which way is this going, buddy? Which way?
Look at how awkward Witsit gets.
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, which way?
Which way is it going?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Why are you obfuscating away from what I'm saying?
No, I'm talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Is this going clockwise or counterclockwise? Come on, just give me the answer, buddy. You can see it.
To be fair, the webcam is mirrored, so it might be.
It is?
I think so.
That doesn't make a difference.
I don't know, and I don't see what's the relevance.
I see it going counterclockwise.
Yeah, that's how it.
That's going counterclockwise, right? Just say it, Austin. Just say it.
It looks like that, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we keep it turning.
Do you think I don't understand the concept?
No, I'm showing you, and I'm showing all the viewers. Look, which way is this going now?
We all get the concept.
Going clockwise. So if you're standing up here and you look at the sky, you see it rotating counterclockwise. If you're down here, you see it rotating clockwise. So admit that this phenomenon makes perfect sense on a globe.
Look at how he's got to throw the 666s for this too.
So admit that this phenomenon makes perfect sense.
All right. You just got to bang it out. 666 makes perfect sense.
Yeah, this is the big Antarctic. This is the big final experiment. This is everything that they have hinges upon this, right? That there's a bottom to the sphere and that everybody's upside down and we circle and the sun looks like it's going around us there.
So I did just make a video recently that goes into detail about this. This is David Weiss uses our virtual reality model to explain the path of the luminaries on a plane exposed, because he came out and tried to mock Professor Dave, and in backup Wits It doesn't get it, and he used our model. And so this right here, I want to play this video because this right here is the absolute complete debunk. Well, it's what Wits It couldn't talk about, right? And it explains the reasons why he can't talk about it. So let's go ahead and watch this here. It's just a little bit over 12 minutes long, and then we'll keep going through the rest of the debate. Professor Dave can't understand perspective on a flat Earth, June 21st, 2024.
Okay, so explain the observations from antiquity that I told you. How are you getting the sky to rotate in opposite directions depending on where you're standing? Let's start with there. How observable is that? How does that fit?
Yeah, this is what always happens. Instead of providing evidence that the surface is curving, you're saying, well, but if it's not, then how does this happen?
No curved surface. You said the default position, flat plane. I'm asking you on your flat plane, explain the observations of the celestial sphere. In the north, you get counterclockwise rotation. In the south, you get clockwise rotation. Explain that to me on your default flat plane. Explain it.
Nah, you can't use our model to explain star rotation on a flat plane. This is our model, not yours. Look at this. There is a person at the center of the dome, but the four cardinal directions are out at the edge: north, south, east, west. In your model, the end goes to the center, and then it's only S's around the edge. Look, South Pole. What is this? Antarctica? The very first video that you have shows this. The N goes in the center, and the S's all the way around. You should know this by now, Dave. Then Polaris is 90 degrees overhead and the stars rotate around the dome horizontal to the ground. This right here is the most accurate depiction of your model I have ever seen. It is even done to scale. Earth diameter, 25,000 miles. Check. Sun and moon diameter, 32 miles. Check. Sun and moon altitude, 3,000 miles. Check. In a star dome 100 miles above the sun and moon, that way they don't bump into each other, right? But you can clearly see that the moon in some locations would change through all phases from a crescent to a full moon to a crescent in one night. And that if you were south of the tropics, that you would never be able to see a full moon. We have the Milky Way and the northern constellations, but unfortunately this model cannot represent any of the southern constellations and completely omits all of them. This is how the luminaries rotate in your model. They all rotate horizontal to Earth. What you are showing here is our model. If the four cardinal directions are depicted out at the edge of the circle, that is your circle of sight. Not a depiction of a 25,000 mile wide dome that is south everywhere. Models that are limited to a person's circle of sight are our models. Let me show you with our model what your model would look like. Here you go, Dave. Same tool that you were using. Notice that it has the 4 cardinal directions on a plane in a circle of sight, not inside of a complete dome. Let's add a couple of stars here and animate this. Now you can see that this is the graphic that David Weiss was using. In order for this to be his model, what he has to do is turn this up to 90 degrees and make this person the north and make everything else around it an S for south, right? Because the entire outside edge is all south and there's just one north point and everything else is south. Well, when you do that, you can clearly see that the stars have to be all rotating around the outside edge here. When you go up to the North Pole, you get to see how everything would have to work on Earth everywhere because this is the entire dome. Our model. This is our model. The one that shows a fixed circle of sight on a plane with the luminaries rising from and setting into Earth, which you're using right now here to show Professor Dave how it actually works. This is our model. Don't you know that we know how it works and that there's a reason why you're not using this model south of the equator? Let's show everybody why Professor Dave keeps on the clockwise, counterclockwise issue the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome PSYOP has.
Yeah, so the counterclockwise and clockwise direction is super simple. It's based on looking different directions. Your better question is, why does it go around a singular point, is what you're trying to say.
No. I'm asking about the direction. Let's go the direction.
It just looking opposite directions would make them go the opposite directions. They all go east and west.
If you put a clock
literally
on your ceiling, which way can you face to make the hands go counterclockwise? Tell me which way.
It's not analogous. The stars.
No, it is. It is though, because the hands on a clock.
You don't get it.
Right?
You don't get it. The stars drop due to perspective, so we're actually looking.
This is complete gibberish. The stars are always equidistant from the observer. Look at our model you have on the screen. They are not coming towards you or going away from you as your model demands. You are correct that Polaris is at the center of your model, but this is clearly our model with the stars rising from and setting into Earth.
Looking out towards them, not directly up.
Which depends on your latitude, right? Depends on your latitude. If you're at the equator, they're going from horizon to horizon.
Wait, do you agree that if I was looking out and something was spinning one way and then I looked at it from the other direction, it'd look like it was spinning the opposite way?
No, it wouldn't.
Okay,
that's why I said you just.
You only show our model in the north, and the South Pole is below the horizon. But as you go south of the equator, there is an entirely different group of constellations that all rotate around a southern polar point clockwise. The reason why Professor Dave keeps grilling Witsit doesn't get it on the clockwise versus counterclockwise rotation is because your model cannot explain it. Your model has the stars like this.
just said, if I put a clock on the ceiling, right, which way, I'm asking you, which way can, you just said, if something is spinning one way and you look a different way, it'll spin another way. So I'm asking you, put a clock on the ceiling, which way can you face that'll make the hands appear to go counterclockwise?
You obviously don't comprehend what I'm saying, Dave.
I think you don't understand what I'm saying.
Do you agree that things will appear to drop due to perspective?
Why are you talking about perspective? I'm talking
because you don't understand it. So
you're trying to obfuscate.
No, I'm not. If the stars are above me
Let me help
on
you.
a plane and I look out, they're going to look like they're dropping down, which means I'm looking out at. You don't even understand basic stuff.
Look at this. Hang on. Where's the camera? Which way is this turning? Which way is this going? Which way is this going?
I don't know. Which way is it going?
Yeah, which way is it turning?
Who cares?
What do you mean, who cares?
Why are you obfuscating away from what I'm saying?
No, I'm talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Is this going clockwise or counterclockwise? Come on, just give me the answer, buddy. You can see.
That is why Witsit doesn't get it, obfuscates with perspective, and you added the words to our model saying local stars appear to fall to the horizon due to perspectives as they move away from us. When in our model, they rise from and set into Earth, and in your model, they would have to be doing horizontal circles above the ground, and you cannot circle around a southern point like our model does. You are using our model saying that the stars get closer and farther from you while the stars are rotating around the observer at a fixed distance, rising from and setting into Earth. You cannot shit on our model, Sir David Weissenstein of the Order of Magoo. Say that nonsense while showing people your model. You won't, because it's so simple to see that your model is complete bullshit.
And I hereby induct you both into the Order of the Arc Knight.
There are only 3 models of reality, and you will not even show yours, and it is debunked thousands of different ways. Our model, with a stationary observer on a fixed plane and with the luminaries rotating around an observer at a fixed distance, rising from and setting into Earth, is accurate to 1/100th of a degree per second anywhere on Earth any day of the year. All we need now is the heliocentric model shills to show the universe to scale with all the different motions of everything they say exists, showing all paths, orbits, and rotations of everything they say there is to scale. Only then will we have the globe's prediction for the azimuth and altitude of the sun and any other luminary, because we are not going to let Glovers use our model either. Well, there.
I mean, I don't know if this is coming through. Round of applause. Round of applause. You got way more debunks. Okay, I need to calm down. I get really upset because I really take our worldview seriously because I want to empower people. That's what I'm here to do, right? Not to grift or to shill or to throw 666s on the screen. I'm here to empower you, okay? So Jason just gave way more debunks than Dave did of the AE map. And he also showed you how the actual, and let's give credit to what credit is deserved. And Enoch 5,000 years ago is the one that gave us the model that Andrew Marsh created with the 6 gates in the east, 6 gates in the west, the sun rising and setting, the stars following in the same path as the moon as well through the ecliptic path. And you can move the hemisphere all over the flat plane, and you can measure altitude and azimuth to anything that was ever created, that's ever been spotted or sighted in the air, and you can actually reference it from 1/100th of a degree per second. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as you can see here, that was the clip that David Weiss had taken trying to defend Witsit doesn't get it with our model. And we're not going to stand for it. You can't use our model and then say that it doesn't exist. So the fake flat earthers, the pressurized pizza domers, they never show you the way the stars would rotate. You have to dig to be able to find something that represents it. And that video right there has some of the best graphic representations of what the stars would be doing if they were circling horizontal to the ground, which they don't. So we can keep going here now.
Yeah, I mean, how come Dave didn't show that video? Why didn't Dave use all those debunks? The way that the moon works? Why? It just baffles me. He's the top flat Earth debater, debunker in the world, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
But he didn't even know those debunks. That's foreign to him. He didn't think about asking, like, hey, what about all this? Right? No?
No.
It's on a globe, and on a flat Earth it doesn't, which is why you're rambling about perspective and all these other things.
No, there was no rambling. You incessantly interrupted me explaining it because you know you can't actually allow me to say.
Change the subject.
Okay, let me ask.
I'm not.
So right when it says change the subject, the quartering guy comes in and changes the subject. Watch.
Let me try this. If this is okay. Can we start with because you guys are both super familiar with this. Let me toss out so people can dip a toe. One of the biggest conversations that goes back and forth, both of you talked about this in your
Everyone's
videos,
doing 666.
is flat Earth. Dave's video points out that there are some issues where, for example, the sun is coming around, right? And we know, because we live here, that one area of the world is in perpetual light, the other's in perpetual dark. This would be non-congruent with a flat Earth. So
he's talking
what
about
is the flat Earth
Terminator?
position? Am I describing that fairly?
Yeah.
How half of the sphere is supposedly always in darkness, they say.
Yeah, the illumination patterns.
It doesn't work.
Dave, I'm oversimplifying.
Sure. The flat Earth cannot explain the region. That was my second point.
Hold on. Is the quartering in the debate against Witshit too?
Yeah.
Is that what so you got Witshit with perspective. Now you get the quartering teaming up with Dave now to talk about how the AEM doesn't work, right?
The old double team action.
It cannot explain the regions.
That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. So what
the
is
regions of what?
The regions of illumination, the parts of the Earth that are day or night at any given time.
But I know you know the answer. So I've heard the answer given to you. No, but Dave knows the answer. So something called
the answer is that if you're facing the sun, it's day, and if you're not, it's night. That's the answer.
Dude, I'm gonna enlighten you, bro. If you don't allow the other person's point to be made, you didn't win anything. No matter how much coping's going on in the chat.
For you to make a point. Go ahead.
Okay, it's called a coffee cup caustic. It's a literal physical.
The coffee cup caustic. Here comes the answer, and this is bad.
Wow.
Effect that can be replicated. The light will actually bend around the rim of any type of containment. It can literally be demonstrated and shown to perfectly replicate the seasons, the perfect light distribution on a plain Earth. You're objectively wrong. You've had this presented to you, and now you're back here in front of people pretending you don't know what it is.
Who has presented this to me?
Dave Weiss did. I watched it.
No, Weiss floundered like a buffoon. That's why you guys all call him controlled opposition now. If you could demonstrate...
Yeah, but the fake flat earthers never concede, even when a guy like David Weiss goes and gets annihilated by...
They love him.
Yeah.
He's their hero, and he's also... David Weiss is now Christian, right? They're all turning Christian.
He's got Psalm 19:1 on his shirt.
Right, he is. Yeah, he's talking about God all the time. Same with Witsit.
Yeah. He did biblical cosmology. That was horrible.
All have videos demonstrating
coffee.
This.
There are literally hundreds of them.
No.
Hundreds.
I'm not talking about shine it and it kind of does a thing, sort of. I'm talking about show the precise regions of day and night.
So hold on. Show us your Earth in the universe with measurable, scalable models. I don't want to see them cartoons on T-shirts or that boom. You know, that one model where the sun's flying through and all the planets are circling around it. Like, that's all you have. You can't measure that, nor would that even be close to what we actually measure if we were actually flying through the universe like that. So, again, you know, he's just asking ignoramus questions.
Yeah, and it would be guaranteed to have parallax if it was moving like that. And there's no parallax. That's why he wants to leave it open to geocentrism, because only in geocentrism would there be no parallax.
Several month period, right? Have it exactly precisely aligned with where
it's literally been done multiple times, Dave.
So sounds like an empty claim to me, because I've never seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can jump just a hair.
Type in coffee cup caustic, which I will literally look. I'll share the screen, and Dave has been shown this. in
Just stay on
his
top.
debate.
Stay on point, though. Stay on point.
Oh, okay. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Answer my question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just Google coffee cup caustic. If I have a coffee cup, if I
So
took
if
the lid
people-
off of my coffee,
If you're hearing somebody try to explain something to do with reality, and they're not showing you a picture of the Earth with their camera, run, get away from them. It's a magic trick. It's a thought experiment, like Newton with the apple hitting him in the head. Oh, the Earth must have sucked the atom to it due to its mass. No, none of this is real. This is where the witchcraft is.
And what are the chances he just so happened to have a coffee cup ready for this?
For the experiment.
and then light was shining in from the window. What will happen because of the rim is the light will hit inside the coffee cup and wrap around the entire rim. I can take this little flat Earth model right here and do it live. I'd have to cut all the lights off, and since the windows are open, I can't. So it's very simple
He had all the reasons why he can't do it.
to explain it. There you go. It wraps around. Now, if you apply this to a flat Earth, you will be able to perfectly replicate the distribution of light that gives
Perfectly replicate.
Wow, that looks so stupid.
It gets worse.
Proof?
It gets worse.
us day and night, depending on the proximity of the source of light. It's easily done. Everyone knows that, and you can look it up. If you're new to that, that's fine, but just look it up, right? And the way that we determine sunset time is with the equation of time, which uses the apparent sun. It uses the mean of the apparent sun. So we don't.
The mean of the apparent sun. Yeah, this is gibberish. He's talking about the center of the luminary as opposed to when the first edge goes across, right?
Yeah, well, also, whenever they do anything that actually has to have something that matches reality, they have to say apparent because then they have to make it local, right?
Mm-hmm.
For anything to actually work in the spherical model, everything has to be local, right? So they have to change it and say it's an apparent position due to the fact that you cannot even model something to scale at 90 million miles. The computer programs aren't good enough for that. How long would we have to scroll to get to the sun?
So this is the exact same art. It's Jaren, Witshit. They all just say coffee cup caustic and then say things like it perfectly explains, but watch his perfect explanation.
Don't even use the globe model and a physical location of the sun to determine sunset time or day and night distribution. In the real world, we use the equation of time. So you can replicate this on a flat Earth. It goes in the globe Earth and flat Earth basket. It isn't exclusive to either one.
Now, how does this, and I'm going to kick it over to Dave after this question, but I watched his debunk video, which is a little bit older, but it has a zillion views, so congrats on that. But there's like, let's say you have
appeal to popularity.
This coffee cup caustic, right? And his claim is that there's like perpetual night, daylight in this spot and perpetual night in this spot, right? Am I representing that accurately?
Yes, near the solstices, there are places with 24-hour night and 24-hour day.
So how does that figure into this?
Yeah. Look, okay, I'll share the screen so everyone can see it.
Okay.
Does that work? We'll just do that. So I gotta find which one it is. Here we go. Okay.
I got you.
Okay. If you see here, this is a demonstration of the coffee.
And of course it says End Illuminate up here. This is the crap that Jaren's been promoting. I think this was Jaren.
That coffee cup. This doesn't represent what the model that was just on the screen either.
And it has a light outside of the dome, which is going to pose an issue here.
Coffee cup caustic. Okay, that's what this is. So if you look, you put a dome over at the top of the flat Earth, you're going to take a light source. It's going to give you see the distribution of the equinoxes and the solstice right there below it. Now watch what the light does. Now look at it wrap all the way around the outside. Okay, this is called coffee cup caustic, meaning if there was a container on the Earth, it would literally have to do this. It would have to do this. And yes, all the mathematics have.
If there was a container, the light would have to be inside the container, and your display right here is a light outside of it.
Has been shown, and I could pull that up if I need to.
Well,
so the math has been shown.
The math has been
While you
shown.
pull that up, I'm going to give Dave 3 minutes to respond because we went over. So I want to give Dave. I'm like,
Now
I'm
there's
kind of keeping
timing?
it rough. But,
Yeah.
try to keep something. So I want to let Dave respond to
Yeah,
this.
I don't need 3 minutes. It doesn't perfectly match. It's just a very hackneyed demonstration that kind of sort of makes a shape. They're not showing any kind of actual model that directly correlates with all of the positions. So number one,
He's right. Where's the azimuth and altitude for any single location? Right? You would have to know the exact sunrise angle, sunset angle, its zenith, all these types of measurements. And yeah, this is just light reflecting inside a cup. Dave is right here, actually.
one, it absolutely does not correlate with the times of day and night, doesn't do it. But second of all, it also creates gigantic problems because in order to get this, you're pretending that there's this dome, magical dome or whatever the hell you're talking about that's giving this effect, which number one, isn't there. Right? You cannot demonstrate that this dome is there. But number two, it creates other problems because if you're saying that the sun is outside of this dome, then you don't get to have the sun inside the dome for the magical explanation for tides and all these other things that don't make sense on a flat earth that you're pretending that the sun and the moon do, right?
Yeah. Now, when Dave mentions this is another point of contention. I just, you guys are going at it, but I just want to keep everyone else in the loop. There is one of the points of contention is whether or not in the flat Earth model, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is whether or not the sun is inside or outside of this hypothetical dome. Because in one case, it's responsible for the tides and this, that, and the other, and then the other case, it's responsible. What is it? Tides and what did you?
Storms, everything.
Yeah.
Right? Coriolis.
So what is
storms rotate in opposite directions depending on the hemisphere?
Oh my gosh.
So okay, all right. So Austin, I'll give you. Go ahead and respond to that.
Yeah. So we don't know what's above us because you can't freely just shoot stuff up as high as you want to. Okay. And GPS cuts off over a certain height. It's all militarized. But there could be layers to it. I don't know if you've ever thought of that, Dave, but there could just be layers. There could be multiple layers. And yeah, we know the sun affects things.
Multiple layers. The sun's either inside or outside, but now all of a sudden saying multiple layers is an excuse?
Here, tides don't work. You just gish gobs. Tides don't even work in your model. You can look up a paper by a Harvard paper, a century of tidal theory failures.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, so that was probably the one thing that Witsit got out that is a good globe debunk this whole thing. The tides don't work on a globe, right? Because there's too high tides. And so with the moon being it, the sun being it, the too high tides doesn't work on a globe. Plus the varying types of tides in different locations. So Witsit does get it right here that tides is a globe debunk.
Okay, it's very simple. But this was if the whole debate is just, hey, let's just start spamming Austin with questions of how would this work on a flat Earth. That's not a debate. You're supposed to support the claim the Earth's a spinning ball. I showed direct falsification of it in my PowerPoint. So avoiding that is totally disingenuous.
Like the rotation of the night sky, depending on latitude, and you can't answer. You just say the word perspective and run away.
So Dave,
no, I got 3 words.
See this? He's just going to take it back to the star rotation thing.
Out and you interrupted it.
No. You were free to answer. That's all you could do.
Let me
remember we did the whole thing with the clock on the ceiling, and you have no idea what you're talking about. You said that,
fellas.
Okay,
let me do. Okay.
All right, we can jump ahead here. We'll go to 3352. So this is the section here where which is going to be pushing Dave on we see too far.
Austin shared. Nobody denies that this picture exists. Austin, what do you...
Nobody denies that the picture exists, is what he said.
You say this is showing. Now remember, I keep bringing it back because people who are watching aren't as balls deep as you guys both are in the topic.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Sure.
Gross.
This is just a picture.
Why would
to me.
someone say that? Why would...
He's dirty.
What does this show?
Okay, so this was the world record at the time. It's been beaten now for the longest line of sight photograph ever taken. This is a mountain called Pic Gaspard. Okay, and it was so now on a globe. If I look out, the Earth should be curving and blocking things in the distance, similar to how I can't look around a corner, right? Like if I look, it's like looking at a hill. So if based on your height,
taken at 12,000 feet, though, right?
Correct. Right. So what you do is you pull up Earth Curve Calculator, you put the observer height in,
Okay.
and then it'll tell you where the horizon will be, and it'll tell you how much of the target hidden height there is. So this is from the Earth Curve Calculator, official calculator. And if you look at it, the observer was 9,000 feet up. The target hidden height, meaning how much Earth curvature should be there, is 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest part of the mountain is only 12,000 feet. That means the top of that mountain should be 4,000 feet below Earth curvature.
Okay, and then Dave, what do you say to that?
Two things. One, I cannot verify any of those numbers. Those could absolutely.
All right, so right away he's going to start off by saying, I can't verify those numbers.
Absolutely be fabricated by you. And number two, we're not doing any of the math. So those are two things that are not being verified. So instead, let's talk about something purely conceptual and intuitive. Why can we see farther with elevation?
You're on the screen.
So he's not going to speak on those images, and all of a sudden he wants to go to something conceptual.
Why can we see further? Like, does he not realize that works on both a flat Earth and a sphere Earth? Well, no, it doesn't work on a sphere Earth because the curvature should be falling away from you the higher you go.
Right.
Be careful.
What happened?
I know.
Awesome. Okay, I was just saying.
This guy's just denying basic math.
I put my own home address on when I didn't realize it, so I was just telling.
Yeah, I guess you could look.
Okay, yeah.
So Witsit's
okay, let me finish.
Typing in the stats.
Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
So we can't verify any of these numbers. So instead, let's just talk about something very simple and intuitive. If we are looking.
All right. Notice here that the horizon distance for something 9272 is 117.92 miles. All right. So
why does it say Earth curve calculator? It's actually the distance to the horizon calculator.
Mm-hmm.
It's a supposition to add that it's Earth curved.
Yeah, so the distance to the horizon is 117 miles, yet the claim is what, 160 miles for this one? So obviously it can't be seen based on the distance to the horizon calculator. Let's go here a little bit longer.
Looking at something at the horizon, if we go up.
Yeah, 275 miles, even though the distance to the horizon was 117. That's impossible.
Up in elevation, we can see farther. That is not intuitive on a flat Earth because that actually increases the distance to the horizon, right? If you're going up, now there's an additional distance, right? If you get a hypotenuse, that's always going to be longer than the leg there. So why can we see further? What happened?
Word salad.
Okay.
Caesar salad.
This guy's just denying basic math.
I put my own home address on when I didn't realize it, so I was just telling.
Yeah, I guess you could look.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let me finish the thing I was saying.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
So we can't verify any of these numbers. So instead, let's just talk about something very simple and intuitive.
It jumped. Here we go.
Point, right?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
Within 7 seconds. He made a claim
you're
that
here
it doesn't make any sense.
Here.
It's
if you go up,
basic
this is
math.
even farther now, right? If you're here and you're looking at something here and you go up in elevation, that thing is now further away from you.
So Dave is saying the higher you go, the less you can see, right? Because it's
what?
Yeah, because it's farther away from you. It's
further away. Wow.
Yeah, it's the tangent.
It's a crazy. I've never heard this concept.
That is some crazy nonsense right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the actual real world record is, and we covered this. Well, 6 months ago. This was January 6th, 2024. And so we had just come across this, and Mount Everest is 200 kilometers far away from Kathmandu. And this is really the longest distance sighting. So Mount Everest is the tallest thing on Earth, so it has the largest circle of sight, which means it can be seen from the farthest distance. And there's an article about this, is the Nikon P1000 zooming into Mount Everest from Kathmandu, and the person says 200 kilometers far. They don't give a specific location that this was recorded from, so it's hard to. So kilometers to miles, that's 125 miles. But yeah, P1000's got the largest focal length that you're gonna get at 3,000 millimeters. And at 125 miles, that is the farthest place that Mount Everest can be seen from. So, unless if you have something taller than Mount Everest, you're not going to break this record. And this is a far cry short of the things that they're claiming. So, we've pointed out for a very long time, this is how far can we see. 7 years ago, Jeranism's deceiving you, 160-mile sunset bullshit. And so Jaron was the one that started pushing this Canagoo at 160 miles. And he was pushing that website Beyond Horizons, which is the place that Witshit is getting all of his fake evidence from. And yeah, so this is all available. There's Jaron's Witchcraft store. There's a lot of goodies packed into this hangout. There's the Chicago skyline. That's another psyop that gets referenced. And the Canagoo, right?
So if we're going to talk about it, you got to show everybody. Do you still have the Google page open?
Yeah.
So, as you can see here, where you've got a loosh here looking towards Canagao, and so if we look at the line that's already drawn to that spot, oh, you moved it, but
yeah.
So basically, seeing this far, right? When we go back to this line, this is what I want everybody to understand. This is what we're actually seeing. Now, I haven't dropped the pin down. So this is the actual distance to the horizon from their location on a loosh. Right?
I'll show everybody. So here's Jaron's original video. I was able to find it on Odyssey. So Jeranism Canagoo peak seen from Alouche, France. And so Jaron says right here, the elevation. Let's check this out. This site is slow.
Jerry.
High, and the mountain from here.
Oh, let's go back another click.
Mountain, 8,500 feet high, and the mountain from here, where our observation is 1,000 feet. Actually, it's about
1,000 feet. So,
did you go lower? 700.
What's that?
It sounded like he was about to say like a 700 number.
Oh, okay. Let's check it out.
800, but I'm just aiming high. So let me show you what's going on here.
Go back here.
Yeah, Rumble's a bit better than Odyssey, I think.
Yeah.
Is the name of this mountain, 8,500 feet high, and the mountain from here, where our observation is 1,000 feet. Actually, it's about 700 or 800, but I'm just aiming high.
Oh, 7 or 8.
Worse.
Yeah.
We'll go to 1,000. Let's keep it. Let's be friendly and do them the solid and go from 1,000. Keep in mind where that line is crossing. It looks like you see a little bit of island sticking out there. I want everybody to make sure they're looking at that just above the pin to the right along that red line. It looks to me like there's some island there.
Yeah, right there. So I did better research than he did. He said 8,500 feet for Canagoo. It's 9136. So I'm just going to show everybody how this works. The way you can calculate the distance to the horizon is you take the height in feet, 9136, take the square root of that, and then you multiply that by 1.23, and this is your distance to the horizon. So as we saw from the calculator the Witshit had up, the distance to the horizon from 9136 is 117 miles. So that would be if you were at the top of Canagoo looking back the other direction, you could see 117 miles from there. But that's not the direction that the picture is taken. The picture is taken from this elevation towards Canagoo. So you have to use the elevation over here. So like he said, 700 or 800 feet, but we're going to go on the high side for him. We're going to take the 1,000 feet, and at 1,000 feet, the square root of that times 1.23 means that our distance to the horizon is 38.89 miles. Now, as Ronnie was pointing out here, when we come back to...
I just want to point one other thing.
Yeah.
So to use the height of the observer from Canagao,
yeah,
the 9,000 one, you actually have to have the person filming on the top of Canagao, filming the sun going behind Alouche. Because if your camera is only at the height of Alouche's mountain, which is 1,000, we're saying, feet above sea level, you can only see to the horizon, and you had it up 38 miles.
Yeah.
Understand? Everybody?
Almost 39. Almost 39 miles.
So, we'll
if
say
you
39 miles.
If you come back here and you look at the distance from the Alush to Canagoo, here we've got 152.50 miles. But if we come back to here, what have we got? We've got 43, almost 44 miles. So, with that picture,
if those are islands down there, we don't know. We haven't checked.
What that picture really is that somebody over here taking a picture towards this body of water, and because he's so zoomed in, this body of water right here is looking big, and then you have this group of, an island type hill. Yep.
And that's showing up, and they're saying that's Canagao.
Yeah, so the sun would be rising and setting out in this area at a certain time of the year, and it would be
to the horizon.
It would be backlighting this and making it visible.
Right. Everybody clearly sees and understands what we're showing here. Now, the peak of Canagao can be seen from, its height is 9,000. So was it 117 miles?
117 miles.
So the other issue is, if that evidence is supposedly from Alush, what you have to do is take that spot and drag it down so that we can see where 117 miles is. Oh, you got it all.
Yeah.
Correctly. Is it still working?
I don't think so. That's
clear it. So if you want to see the furthest distance that you could see the peak of Canagoo, like these names, Canagao. The furthest distance is 117 miles, so you just have to draw a line from Canagao back 117 miles.
Okay.
And that's the furthest distance that it can be seen from, and a circle around that, because everything we see is a circle of sight around us, right? Oh, you had it. Almost.
Yeah. This is... You can see...
That's 117?
Right, yeah.
So... Was somebody at that shoreline? It's still not the world record. The world record is 100 and what was it? From
25.
125 miles.
Yep.
So yeah, this one's close. If they're on the shoreline filming it, not on the mountain, they're just lying about their distances. Those are your two honest looks at this supposed evidence. You can't get any more honest, any more open. I don't see anybody else, Jaron or Austin. I don't see any of these guys actually taking the time to investigate these images and the distances. That's all.
Yep. Yeah, as pointed out by Zworst, infrared, none of these things change the distance to the horizon. And so once something is beyond the horizon, it's vanished. That's the vanishing point.
You can't zoom it back in.
Yep.
And when you rise, you can see more. But the problem with that is that everything becomes fuzzy. You can't distinguish anything at a certain altitude. It's just gone. You can only, it's like 50 or 60 miles. It's not that really clear when you go up, right? We've also gone over that. If you really want to know what's the highest up, what's the largest circle of sight we've ever seen, that's another video for another time. This is going pretty long. I wish that the other guys would have done what Jason and I are doing. I hope anybody that's tuned in and found this due to the way that we use SEO tactics, I'm sure people that have seen the debate or that search for it moving forward into the future, anyone looking for the quartering, Dave or Witsit, welcome to what we share. Please make sure you send them all messages, letting them know that, hey, these guys broke down everything you did and showed the truth. And if you guys want to correct your ways, please get in contact with us, all three of them, and you can come on and defend your positions. Right. I would rather have that than constantly just throwing popcorn at the screen. Where's Austin Witsit? I know he got the notification to this. I put it in two places. Dave, you as well got both the notifications and the quartering. What's that guy's name? Jeremy?
I don't know.
Don't quote me on that. I'm just learning about that character. Why don't you get a hold of us? Okay. And let's have an open conversation publicly on a podcast here. And you can defend your claims instead of just this controlled debate where each of you have debunked each other and given your own arguments and your own word salads, and none of it's true or real. And people deserve the actual truth. So I'm going to stop my ranting. I know we're probably going to go over time. It's okay if we go over time, Jay. I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get through this. So what we've seen here is the number one thing that Austin Witsit's providing as proof of flat Earth is we see too far. And what he's using is disinformation. It's not real. So it's something that's going to be debunked and taken down as being false information.
Yeah, and this is coming from two guys that have gone around with cameras and measured what we can actually film and see. We're not speaking from ketchup bottles in a kitchen like Dave Weiss or coffee cup caustic Witsit, right? Or Dave with his globe that he spins. We're actually going out and filming the reality around us and measuring. Jason's done excellent videos showing you how far that water tower is in relation, or a building, and at what level you get the, what do we call it, the jello effect when things start to wave, right? Mm-hmm. You literally have to have the drone footage like Jason went out and did and documented it while being live, showing the distance, having the double sunsets, right? These are the types of observations that should be in these talking points, but you can tell that this is a closed, it's basically the WWE, right? And they brought it onto the quartering because he's a made YouTube channel who's in the narrative with all of the top New World Order satanic groups you could think of. He works for YouTube, okay, the quartering. And none of them are real, none of them are honest, and it's just a controlled argument with disinformation across the whole board.
Yeah.
So why can you see further with additional elevation?
Because you're increasing your angle of view.
Increasing your
You didn't
angle
know
of view,
that?
you can see. How can you see?
Come on, I don't want to keep on pausing. The answer to that question is you're enlarging your circle of sight. This is, guys, come on, a grade 2. A grade 3 could understand these concepts. Both of them. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, Professor Dave can't even understand how you can see farther if you go higher because.
Well, I mean, how stupid is this debate right now? Everybody tuning in right now, that they don't understand the principle of what did Austin say? What did he say? Could you give me the example again of what did he say that the perspective of the what?
Oh.
Angle of attack?
Angle of view.
Angle of view.
Because you're increasing your angle of view.
What?
Increasing your
didn't know
angle of
that?
view, you can see. How can you see a further distance? We're not talking about an angle. A further
You know how
distance.
stupid that is? Listen, hang on, pause it again. I just got. Come on, okay. Why do we have lookout towers, Jason? Where are the lookout towers? Are they at a low position?
Yeah, they put them up as high as they can because the higher you go, the farther you can see.
Everybody tuning in, Professor Dave doesn't understand why lighthouses have to be at a high elevation. He doesn't. Why would that happen, Dave? What would you need? And by the way, lighthouses absolutely prove that the Earth is flat. Absolutely.
How can you see
because now you're changing your angle of view, so you're increasing your angular resolution and the things that you can pick up in the distance. Also,
increasing your angular resolution. Get out of here.
And you know what's funny? The lighthouse was used to debunk the flat Earth, right?
Yeah.
Because if you film a lighthouse on a shoreline and you go out to sea and you continue to film that lighthouse, what you're going to see is less and less of it from the bottom up. Right. And shady shysters like Dave and the quartering have been around for centuries or maybe millennia, taking money and coming out here and saying, oh, you're seeing less of that due to the curvature of the Earth. Right. When all you have to do is put a cell phone camera on the floor in a long hallway and walk away, and you're not going to see your body up past your knees. Right. On a flat, perfectly measured, water level built flat hall. And they're not going to tell you that. Right. But that was what debunked the flat Earth. Right. Robotham lost due to the fact that they seen less and less of the lighthouse. And that was the problem because it was inconclusive because they could both see the flag at 3 miles at the Bedford level. Right. This is the greatest debates of all time about the shapes of our reality. And we're watching the greatest so-called debate, and neither of them know any of these talking points.
Nope.
Right.
Ground ramps up due to perspective. Dude, just
Ramps
imagine,
up?
just think about it simply. If I was on a flat floor and I laid my head down on the floor, as I start to stand up, I'm
sloped.
going to be able to see further along the floor because my angle
Wow.
of view increases. This
Circle
is again,
of sight. Oh,
Hey, my heart. These guys are trying to.
Yeah, and Professor Dave seems confused. He doesn't seem to understand that.
not
What?
exclusive to a globe Earth.
Like a
And,
flashlight.
and you deflect it away from the observation
Raise
that
the
refutes
flashlight
globe
up into
again.
the air. What
because-
happens? Right? Just take a flashlight, raise it up, point it at the ground, raise it up. What happens to the light?
It goes farther.
Larger circle of light.
I can't verify any of these numbers or the math. They're just lying about it.
Okay, so if the numbers are correct, then you concede it refutes the globe.
Probably not. No.
Okay, then answer it as if it the answer because these are not my numbers.
Okay, I don't know that.
Everyone at home's gonna be able to go look it up. It's a official professional photography website. It's
just
not
wanna
even,
It's a professional photography website. No, it's a bunch of fake flat earthers that say that they can see 256 miles, and then you'll see the camera used, and you'll find out that it has a fraction of the zoom of a P1000. And then if you do the calculations for the distance to the horizon, you'll find out that it's impossible to see that far, right? Because it's beyond the horizon. We can jump a minute here. Let's go up to 38.
Yeah, it's beyond the horizon, and that's the literal shill name that the websites is. It's called Beyond the Horizon. Their revelation of the method, mocking the viewers, like calling it, also using Canagoo as the supposed observation.
This is the big thing that Witsit really, they spend a lot of time on this.
Is the default position that you're trying to undermine by talking
but hey,
about
real
random
fast, can we show some intellectual honesty? I understand that you don't know these numbers, and fair enough. Okay,
It's fair,
you
we
should
don't
want to
know.
verify them.
Put it on
That's
the
fair.
internet.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, in good faith, if
Good
the
faith.
numbers were correct, which they are, what
Hold
would
on,
be
you can't
your
say this
response?
part.
The numbers are correct, but the pictures are fake, right? That's the problem.
Say, if the numbers were correct.
Yeah, it's an intellectually honest question, and it's actually disingenuous to avoid addressing the evidence just with the cop out that I can't verify the numbers right now.
It's actually really not, because when you have an entire model that is all interconnected and all observable phenomena are explained by that model, one singular datum, like one photo, is not going to be powerful enough to undermine an entire model. If the numbers were true and if the math wasn't fudged, then I would say, okay, there's probably some kind of atmospheric effect or some kind of thing that I am not aware of that is making us see a little bit further. Maybe it's something that particular day. There's a particular humidity, or it's clearly over water. That's going to increase the atmospheric refractive effects. None of these observations are ever done over land. I think that's why. Same with the skyline of Chicago. They're always done.
The world record longest distance ground-based observation is Mount Everest, and yes, that is over land. 125 miles.
Water for you guys. So there's something clearly, just one singular explanation that is missing, and that's why one datum is not going to undermine an entire model that explains every single thing about the world that we live in, from
No, it doesn't. It's wrong on all of it.
everything we see in the night sky to geological phenomena to just absolutely everything in our world, right?
So
One datum is
hand
not
wave
gonna undermine it.
dismissal, red herring fallacies, appeal to possibilities. That's your rebuttal. Okay, we can move on.
Reification,
All right, let's move on to the-
fallacy.
Let's move
Do you,
on to
do you
different-
do you know that fallacies are important, Dave?
Now, I know that you guys name random fallacies to pretend that you've won something when you didn't. That's
You literally appealed to possibilities. You said there's probably something that could possibly be happening. You literally did a textbook appeal to possibility. It's
okay,
it's all
and
good.
You're pretending.
So that's true. That literally was the fallacy that he committed. But you've got your own Witsit.
Was that essentially 5,000 years ago, there was a different North Star. And the question around whether or not the stars move, because that is actually paramount to the idea that the Earth is rotating around the sun versus the Earth being the center of the universe. So
here's the jump to geocentrism versus heliocentrism again. So these were the two big talking points. We can see too far, and now all of a sudden it's going to geocentrism.
Austin, I'll go to Austin, then I'll go to Dave, and then next time we'll start with Dave. So in the flat Earth model, is it that the stars? Can you explain the stars thing to the layman in the flat Earth model?
Okay. Wait, the star thing? Like the question you just asked about the star moving or something else?
Well, I thought maybe I misunderstood. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the flat Earth mindset was that the stars did not move. Is that not true?
Sure.
Am I wrong about that?
Okay. Well,
or correct
the
me.
claim. There is a claim that the North Star used to be a different star, and it's a very vague, ambiguous claim based on like architecture. So there's.
So now all of a sudden, Witsit's going to try to give credibility to the idea that the North Star has moved, and that it's not fixed.
No actual legitimate evidence verifying that. For all legitimately recorded history, we have Polaris. But there is something called a kinematic equivalence, which, sure, that sounds fancy, but it's not.
Hold on. I know you're explaining it, but you didn't add. So is it, what is the flat Earth position on stars? Do they move or do they not move?
They move every day. That's called sidereal rotation. If you mean over time, there does seem to be a slight progression of the stars. But what I'm trying to explain is that isn't exclusive to the Earth moving or not moving.
It's not a progression of the stars. It's a progression of the equinox. It's where the sun is in constellations.
Right. It's called kinematic equivalence, which is what relativity is about, relative motion. It's like, oh, is the plane moving or am I moving? You can never tell. That's what the globe model says. So anything that moves in the sky could by default not prove that we were the ones moving, according to the official globe model. That's the point I'm making. It's called a kinematic equivalence. So whatever the stars are doing, because we can't go back thousands of years and verify if the North Star was different,
just saying
whether
it's
it was or wasn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't prove the Earth.
You just use the word kinematic to say equivalent, right?
Is moving.
So Dave,
relative.
Your response to that?
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, the North Star became Polaris in like 600 CE or something.
6,000 years ago.
6,000 years ago, exactly. It's always been the same. It doesn't move, but he's going to say that the Egyptians had a different North Star.
No. Way more recent than that. Polaris. I mean, it was Thuban in the times of the Egyptians. Came Polaris. So that's what.
I'm pretty sure that the pyramids still line up perfectly to the astrological signs that they're built, pointing towards and mimicking perfectly. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Orion's belt. Don't quote me on it because I'm not into that. There was a Freemason hoax. All the world wonders or giant money pit grifter hoaxes. The same with dinosaurs.
Well documented, but furthermore, we don't need to do that. We can very accurately observe Milankovitch cycles. We can see the precession of the rotational axis happens every year. It can be measured, and then there's parallel.
That's the precessional equinox.
And all these other things, but that's not really what matters because again, he's trying to do this thing where he doesn't have to.
Which again is the sun.
The
precession of the equinox is the sun, not the Earth moving. It's the sun moving in relation to the constellations.
Yep.
Doesn't assume a spherical Earth. When the argument was going on in the Renaissance, early Renaissance, about geocentrism and heliocentrism, we knew that the Earth was a sphere. So every time he does this kinematic equivalence thing, the kinematic equivalence he's trying to refer to is whether the Earth goes around the sun or if the sun goes around the Earth, not doing little donuts on a pizza land. That's not an equivalence. Those are not equal things. We're talking about one going around one or the other going around the other. Those are the two things. So geocentrism, you often try to defend a geocentric model. It assumes a spherical Earth. That is an actual model that can, to some reasonable precision, describe the motions of the celestial objects and put them where.
Actually.
I mean, what?
Actually.
The exact same way. It's relative, Dave. He just established that you can use either. You can choose either one, whatever you feel good with. It's either geocentric or it's heliocentric. It's relative with the motions, right? And now he's saying that it's not as good.
Yeah, but the thing is the geocentrism would keep the stars in a fixed rotation without parallax. As soon as you put Earth in motion, that would immediately put parallax into everything. So really, it's only the geocentric that sort of works as far as showing the celestial bodies.
Yeah.
And heliocentrism is an absolute doesn't work.
where they're supposed to go and predict quantitatively where they're going to be. Flat Earth doesn't have that. You don't have any model. You don't have any way of saying this is where the planets are going to be. This is when an eclipse is going to happen. Any of these things. You absolutely cannot do any of those things. That's why I told you in the beginning, if you want to defend geocentrism, that's totally fine. We can talk about how we know that the Earth moves, which is a completely different topic from knowing whether the Earth is round or flat, because geocentrism uses a spherical Earth.
Okay, response to that, Austin.
Okay, so what's happening is I'm specifically addressing the singular point, and you're gish galloping.
No.
So, like, you want me to address everything you just said, right? Like, for one,
kinematic equivalence has nothing to do.
How about this? Just I'll throw it back to you real quick. Why is geocentrism exclusive to the Earth being a sphere?
Because it's a model that works. Flat Earth doesn't work. It doesn't explain anything we see, like the observations of the celestial sphere that you keep running away from. You cannot explain why.
You didn't answer.
That you can only take from measuring off of a plane. You can't measure the sphere, the heavenly sphere, from a sphere.
No. Yeah, the only thing that he just keeps going back to the clockwise, counterclockwise rotation. That's all he's got.
Way in the north and the other way in the south.
Yeah.
You cannot explain that.
All right, I'm going to take my time back and let me respond to everything you said, because you didn't answer. So the answer is that it's not, because with everything
you didn't answer. That's fine.
You didn't. You just started talking about star trails again. So with everything going on,
because that's how we can destroy you, right? Because you can't explain that with the stars rotating horizontal to the ground. There, Witsit doesn't get it.
the quote-unquote universe, you said universe wouldn't exist. No, maybe not as you've defined it, but with everything going on, all the quote-unquote planets, everything moving around, the Earth's shape doesn't matter. You just project that. Relative to your projection, you create a transform relative to your projection or your assumption of motion.
Observations of the night
Buddy,
sky
I let you finish. Chill out. Okay. So
yeah, let him finish. Let him finish, Dave.
So the truth is that all observations have shown that the Earth is stationary. We have the cosmic microwave background, which showed anisotropic inhomogeneous distribution of energy, which is the exact opposite of the heliocentric prediction, and intersected on the Earth. The 23.4 degree axis was on a non...
Word salad. So you could hear it as soon as Witsit started to use that string of big words together that... Sure, each one has a specific meaning, but to just string them together like that when nobody knows what you're talking about is it's word salad, and
so that's not what it is. It's Saskopedalianism.
Yeah.
Okay, which is when people use large words to make themselves sound smart. But what he is talking about, the distribution of the so-called energy when we test it with actual measurable things, does show that yes, this plane of reality is in the center, and it is everything is fixed and working around it. And you personally, each and every one of us, that's the way the VR was created. And that's what Dave, they call it the axis of evil, right? There's a reason why the scientists brought that up, and Austin is using it, and he's taking all of these arguments from the movie The Principle, which was created by the Jesuit astrophysicist Robert Sangenius, who happened to debate Rob Skiba, right? And Rob Skiba just said, firmament, 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 just yelled at him the whole entire time. And this is where the argument is being taken from.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Austin's actually, he's making the flat earth look dumb by using these big words the way he is.
Saskopedalianism.
Local observation. Dude, define word salad.
You're just using words. You're trying to pretend that cosmology proves the Earth is flat. Then all cosmologists would be flat earthers. Do you have any idea how insane you sound? No, it's not. You're pretending to understand cosmology. You're pretending.
When did I say that was word salad, Dave?
No, I'm saying it's word salad because it is word salad.
I said that was word salad.
We're talking about the shape of the Earth. You're defending a flat Earth, which we figured out it isn't true in 2,500 years ago, and you're trying to talk about modern cosmology to try to talk about this when you can't even explain naked eye observations of the stars in the sky.
Okay, look, they're directly related. The idea is that the Earth is a tilted, wobbling, spinning sphere that revolves around the sun. The alternative is that the Earth is a geocentric, stationary plane. Both of them.
No, it's not geocentric. That would be a globe. Geocentrism has been pointed out over and over and over is globular, with the luminaries rotating around it in a fixed position. That's geocentrism.
Those are
that is the
directly
geocentric
related.
Sphere, that is a stationary sphere, was the alternative. Prior to heliocentrism,
Dude.
we thought that it was a stationary
Stop interrupting.
sphere.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can jump ahead here. 4908.
Being here, I know that it's a weekend night. Can I, if you'll allow me, I'm getting called a coward for not bringing up The Edge, apparently, which is, I assume, one of the more controversial opinions. And Austin, I think it's fair for you to say, hey, I showed up and I'm the one that has to answer. I'm the one that has to defend all our positions. But I also think that's a result of the fact that the spherical Earth is the commonly accepted opinion.
Sure.
So I want to be fair, and I'm not doing awesome at it, but I'm trying. So I want to say, like,
he's not doing awesome at it.
Specific positions against the sphere or against that you want Dave to answer for. You know, I want to give him that, give you that opportunity. But one thing that is what I found fascinating today was the idea of the ice wall or Antarctica. There's a lot of craziness around that, because what I thought,
a lot of craziness,
trying to be unbiased, but I guess being honest, that is very hard for me to believe. Because people can literally go to Antarctica. It's like I watched a lot of Flat Earth video. I told you guys before, I watched almost 8 hours, and I was like, these bastards better show up, because I spent my whole Saturday watching Flat Earth videos. But like, I was watching like the Antarctica thing, which is a common talking point, and people go there all the time. So what is the Flat Earth position about the rim? Basically, that's what people in chat are asking. That what's going on the edges in the Flat Earth? And then Dave, I'll give you a chance. Is that okay? I'll give you a chance to respond to that. Okay.
All right. First of all, to address the first part, I'm cool with asking questions. That's the natural response, because Flat Earth is so out of left field for most people.
Yeah.
But that's more of like a normal conversation thing, not a like he's supposed to be debating me thing. But it's all good. Okay. I'm pretty chill.
I mean, I can let you guys just go at it too, if that's what you want.
No, it's cool. I'm going to answer your question. Okay. This is the typically held position. You cannot freely and privately explore past the 60th south latitude. Okay, which is a ring around the outside. So to independently and freely identify and verify what all is out there is not possible. Do people go there? Yes, you can go on approved guided tours. Most of the time, it's like just a couple locations. They say it's super dangerous. I have a friend that was this is anecdotal, but a former NASA employee was stationed there for 6 months. He's a flat earther.
That's the guy Nathan Oakley interviewed, right?
I have a friend, a former NASA employee. He's a flat earther.
It's admittedly the highest elevation on Earth. So when people say ice wall, I mean, there are videos and pictures of what you would call an ice wall. It's the highest elevation on the Earth.
Hold on. Highest elevation on Earth.
So it's higher than Everest?
Yeah, I think the claim is actually by average. So the amount, the whole like landmass
above
on average. So it's not higher than Mount Everest. It's just on average higher.
Highest average elevation, so not like Mount Everest. The highest average elevation of a continent.
Okay, that might.
Yeah, so we're saying we don't know what's there, and oftentimes people get this straw man. It's like flat earthers say you can't go to Antarctica. People go there all the time. No, we're saying you can't freely and privately explore it, right? Like if I let you in my house, but you couldn't go upstairs, you couldn't tell me what was upstairs, right?
It's dungeon. I would know.
So are you going to go with Will Duffy to the South Pole?
Gross.
Paying for you.
I told him when he first emailed me, before I even knew who he was, that
so all of a sudden, boom, the Duffy gets dropped.
I was open to going. I had specific parameters, which is that they can't take my words out of context and make a hit piece like they always do, that they have to be forthcoming about all the funding and all the stuff like that. And I said I would go. I have no reason not to go.
Hold on, Dave.
What's up?
Can you explain the Will? Because I know about the Will Duffy thing, but most people watching.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was getting these emails and not even knowing who he was, so I didn't reply. But he was this guy, Will Duffy, has been emailing flat earthers and people who make flat Earth debunking content about paying to bring some people to the South Pole to observe the 24-hour sun.
He's like some eccentric billionaire guy, right?
I don't.
So it's this doofus that starts calling Will Doofus the billionaire, eccentric billionaire.
Really know
Or
anything
rich
about him,
guy.
and I don't know how much money he has. I don't think he's a billionaire. I think he has enough money to pay for a couple people to go.
Because I will go. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
I
do
mean,
the South Pole tour.
I wouldn't. I have things to do, but I would
He'll
love
go.
for some flat earthers to go and see the 24-hour sun. And most flat earthers are already making excuses. Weiss is saying he doesn't want to go because he's evil, Satan, or something. I don't know what
But
he's
Austin
talking about.
said he would go.
Satan.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great.
And
Just to be clear,
Dave's
right?
position was that he doesn't respect people that are dishonest and hide behind anonymity and stuff like that. So what
But
David
yeah,
Weiss wouldn't go because Will was did like a lead up to his revealing of who he was. Like a
he didn't just come out.
drop.
Yeah, he didn't reveal it correctly.
Remember,
Yeah,
I said I would go because, dude, I'm not scared of anything.
Did
You
he
know why I'm a
contact
flat
you?
earther?
Did he contact you?
Yeah. He sent like a mass email, and when I saw it, I responded. I said, dude, look, I'll go. It has to be transparent, and honest. People have stolen money. They claim on their videos they're going to fly us, and then we contact them. They're like, I'm not going to actually fly you. That's just for my YouTube video. But he still has a GoFundMe up to make flat earthers
You know
look
what I
bad.
just
So
noticed? Hang on a second. What is the background beside Witsit? His camera. What do we see there? Is it blue? Is it purple? Are those
This?
bricks? Is it brick? No. The
This?
background of the quartering. Yes. What is that? Is that a brick?
You know what this is? It's a texture graphic that comes in Final Cut that he's added a blue hue to.
Okay.
I recognize it.
I said, if it's honest, I'll go. I'm not scared of the truth, dude. I'm a flat earther because you can go see mountains from hundreds of miles away consistently. It doesn't add up. The math doesn't.
So yeah, it doesn't add up. This is the only reason he's a flat earther is because he can see too far, and what he's using is fake evidence.
Add up. So, anyway, and
Can I bring it back?
I
Sorry,
don't know
very
how
quick.
that's going to manifest, but as of now, it looks like it could be me and Jaron going with, I guess, Dave McKeegan or something. But
Well, I give you.
and when we
props
don't
for
see the
going.
24-hour sun,
What are you going to have to see? So if you go, all right, right here and right now, you go, you see 24-hour sun, you come back, you make a video. Because look, I saw this in Dave's video. I feel like I've saw you, and I have also. Everyone's been wrong. It's not like a big deal. I'm not saying you are. But I'm saying, what will it take? Like if you go down there and you see 24-hour sunlight, you'll come back and say, all right, cool. I'm cool. It's global. I'm a global guy now.
I'm a global guy.
If you went to the South Pole for you to change your mind.
if I saw a 24-hour sun that does a 360 around me, like the Go predicts, I would
What would that
readily
look like?
admit like that does.
What's a
What's up?
360 around me look like?
Like the sun should just do a full circle around you and never set, just like it does in the north in the midnight sun. It should do the
Alaska.
same thing in the south.
What does
Yeah,
it look like
if
in
that-
Alaska when it's light for 24 hours there? Do
It literally does. If you're far enough north, you can just see the sun do a full circle around you, which is what the flat Earth predicts is what. What's up?
Dave, do you have any issue with that? I don't know. I've never been there.
No, great. I can't wait. I really hope they go, and then when they come back, that's the end of Flat Earth because that will be it. And we
Well, let me finish what I was saying. It would match the
Wow.
globe. I would step back and be like, "Whoa, I don't expect it to." So I would admit, yeah, that's weird. That matches the globe. That's not expected on the flat Earth, from my understanding. Blah blah blah. I'd openly admit it.
Isn't that what you just did to me about the photograph? Or I was thinking of another explanation.
What? No. I didn't even say that yet, but maybe. But a more definitive test actually is to charter a plane, fly far enough south, have multiple mechanical gyros spinning up that maintain rigidity in space. They should tip over as you go, and then it should flip over. So it should tip and flip based on the curvature of the Earth. If say that test and the 24-hour sun was actually manifested, which I don't have high hopes for, I would, if I found out for sure the Earth's a globe, I would be the first one to come out and admit I was wrong. Because that doesn't prove one thing doesn't prove is that we're flying through space. It doesn't prove any of this other nonsense.
All right, so the gyro experiment is a good experiment, but what I'm worried about is that for this final experiment, they're going to take some gyros and they're going to mount them to something that rotates them to process at 15 degrees per hour. And so not only will they see a 24-hour sun, but they'll say that they have processing gyros, and this is going to be a whole bunch of supposed flat earth debunks wrapped into one package is my unfortunate hunch. Let's see here. for conservation of time, let's go ahead and jump.
We're going to talk about Cavendish, right?
Yeah, I guess that is the next section. So let's go to.
Okay.
Let's go 5758.
Address his improper claims.
Okay, well, what is
I'm
it?
just going to be real.
No, he's right here. He's right. Okay, hold on, Dave. All right. What is it? Articulate the question that Dave has not answered, and then Dave, the floor is
All
yours.
ears.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like I explained earlier, when we looked at the cosmic microwave background, it actually showed that there was, he called this word salad, anisotropic.
Hold on. Wait, what is it? I just want to, we're not all, so what did you say? The what microwave?
It's called the cosmic microwave background, CMB, which is just you send something up high in the air and you read the electromagnetic radiation. There's the visible spectrum of light, then there's the non-visible spectrum. It's pulling in all the data from the light that you can't see with your eyes.
If
Right,
you've
the
ever
CMB.
researched flat Earth, you know this image, right? Dave's seen this
Probably,
image.
yeah. Most
It has
people certainly
nothing to do with flat Earth. I mean, this is cosmology.
Oh, hold on.
It's-
But hold on, Dave. Hold on. Just let him. Yeah. Just let him.
It's about It's
Go
about
ahead.
is the Earth moving or not? So in the current model that the Earth is flying around the sun, the universe, whatever, all the energy should be evenly distributed. That's called homogeneous, and it should be isotropic, meaning it has no preferred direction. Okay, but what they saw was that it was inhomogeneous and anisotropic, and actually the part that had a preferred direction intersected on the Earth. And they ended up calling it the axis of evil. And then what they saw was that this anisotropic inhomogeneous distribution of energy was actually on a 23.4 degree tilt, which was supposedly the Earth's tilt, but it was observed way beyond our quote unquote galaxy, which means it could not have been the Earth tilted. So it's a major problem. The CMB matched the geocentric model.
Okay, Austin.
So this is the area that you were saying was even like direct quote, right?
From the principal, but if Witsit wanted to get it better, he should have actually quoted George Smoot. So George Smoot did the same balloon-borne experiments at a university, and what he came back was he read the observations that he gathered, and he told everybody not only that the Earth, but the whole entire creation is flat.
Flat.
Right? He didn't take a round picture like this is supposed to be everything in the sky. He just took a small section of the sky, not that much larger than what the moon occupies, and he ran it through simulations, and he did the closed, open, and flat model, and it came back flat reality. So Witsit doesn't get it, absolutely drops the ball when talking about this. And the other thing that he should have done is the Alton Harp and the quasar conundrum that showed that the universe isn't expanding, that completely throws the whole entire law of Hubble out. Again, these are supposed to be the top debaters in the world, and they're very, very childish in mentality, all three of them, to the point where it makes me question if all these characters aren't in on it, just trying to really hold back anything of knowledge or truth from anybody.
Yep.
So you're talking, so this image, right? The CMB model, right? You're saying, how does this, one thing I'm a layman, so I feel like I'm speaking for just regular people who are watching. What about this should Dave talk about when it comes to the sphere heads? The
sphere heads.
When you talk about the microwave, whatever, how does this relate to flat Earth? Is what my question is.
This is just about if the Earth is geocentric or not. If the universe is geocentric.
Okay,
so
that's a different conversation then, right? Because
it's not though.
The planet could be yes, it is, because the planet could be a sphere but still be geocentric.
It
right?
could be, yes, that's right.
Okay, so it is different.
The point is that the mainstream model we were all inundated with was that the Earth is a spinning globe. So the alternative is that the Earth is a stationary plane. And what always happens is the people that believe in the spinning globe, they want to avoid the burden of proof for both of those things, curvature and motion. And if they think they can say what's an eclipse, then somehow they don't have to explain all the evidence that shows the Earth's not a spinning globe. And that is illogical.
Austin, how do you explain eclipses? You brought it up. I didn't bring it up. So
I don't know.
That was finally Austin Witsit scores 2 points. He didn't give any examples to back up the claim that the Earth doesn't spin, right? Nor is there any measurement for curvature. He didn't give examples of properties of water, but at least he called into question those two things. And the quartering was supposed to say, how does this model or map that we're looking at correlate to the AE map and model? That's what he's supposed to say, but he just he just fumbled his words. He totally missed his cue.
Let's not jump topics here.
Okay, I'll shut up. You're right, Dave. Thanks for keeping me in line.
Yeah. You can go whatever we want after this, but no, this is what Austin relies on. This is why he's so incapable of doing.
But what does it supposedly prove? I'm sorry. So what does
that the Earth's in the center of the universe?
Got it. Okay.
Oh, Witshit just said that Earth is the center of the universe.
Of the universe, everybody. He's giving you a Big Bang universe. The Earth is just in the center of it.
Oh, that's so
Everything
bad.
exploded outwards from us in the Big Bang in the beginning.
Universe. That's pure Catholicism. Let's jump ahead here.
Something called an azimuthal grid. So we actually see the world in a little azimuth grid. That's how we measure it, right? That's how we measure the stars. We take our zenith, and then we take elevation measurements down to our azimuth. So it gives you a little dome. Now, when you actually run this through
Hemisphere.
Sorry.
Yep, and we've got a model that's accurate to 100th of a degree per second for the luminaries on a hemisphere. He's got that part right.
a software, you will see that if you had a bunch of stars circling over top of you and you had this little limit of vision that was a dome, you'll actually see the stars appear to converge at a point where they're actually not converging and circle around that point. We have
No, they actually do rotate around each observer coming from Earth and setting into Earth. Absolutely.
It, so we actually expect it. The problem is we need to verify the exact cardinal direction to even put that input into the software to know for sure, to give you a flat Earth model you all beg for, and it is impossible to 100% verify the cardinal directions that far south. So
hold on.
No, all you have to do is use the Southern Cross, and that'll tell you exactly where the South Pole is, and then you can extrapolate east, west, and north from it. So doing a luminary sighting will give you your cardinal direction. Absolutely. Even in the south, you don't need a compass. Let's jump up here to 113.03.
More importantly,
that was your
what
claim,
you absolutely can't explain is why that guy fell down.
oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Oh, the
because
gravity
Electric gravity. Let's do electric
gravity.
gravity.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it. Let's.
These are just kids, aren't they? Gravity. Ooh, let's do it. Let's talk about gravity. Ooh.
Yeah, because he
Go ahead.
Just the intellect, you know. Again, I don't know if this is something that you're either an old soul or you're this kind of soul as these guys. I don't want to insult them anymore, but you can clearly see their intellect. It's very childish, all of them.
Yeah, so this is the gravity section now.
because he has weights when he's more dense than the air and he went down.
What is weight?
It is mass times gravity. Mass is volume times density.
Times gravity. Mass times gravity, he's saying, is weight. Get out of here. Flat earther using gravity in your equation.
Times downward acceleration. Gravity is little g, which is just downward acceleration, 9.8 meters per second squared, which you falsely claimed that we can't derive, but you can do that with a kinematic equation, strictly a kinematic equation.
Get me 9.81 meters per second squared without using the mass of the Earth.
Literally, you can do it with a kinematic equation. It's also been done with
see it. Where is it?
Yeah, initial height, velocity, and time will give you the same exact 9.8 meters per second value. That's just the effect. Did you know that 9.8 meters per second squared is just the effect? It isn't even like the claimed cause.
What do you mean the claimed cause? It's a value. It's an acceleration due to the mass.
It's a formula. It's a formula.
Mass of the Earth. That's why G changes with radius, with elevation on different celestial
but it doesn't.
bodies. That's why G is different on the moon. It's different on Mars. You think that's all fake, of course, but So, very, very simply, you cannot explain why things fall down. You just can't do it.
I can.
You can't.
Everything. It's more dense than the air, and so the question would be, why is there up?
Why does it go down?
Why is it down? That's your question.
It is less dense too. The air above it is less dense. Should fall up.
Why is it? What?
The
Dude,
air above an
you're
object.
more dense than the air. It doesn't matter if the air above you is less dense than the air
Well,
below
why does it go
it.
down? This air is less dense. In fact, this air is even less
This guy is supposed to be a professor, and he thinks that things should be falling up because of the less pressure up above.
dense than this air. Why does it go
Okay,
up?
why would that mean it goes down?
What do you mean, why does that mean? Because the mass of the Earth. The mass of the Earth is the reason
You
that things
don't,
fall down.
dude. Helium. Why does helium rise?
Because it's less dense than air.
There you go. It's
So
less
it
dense than the
pulls-
other
so
air.
gravity
Okay.
pulls the air
Okay.
down more than the helium.
That's
It's the
what
same
you
reason
think.
a beach ball goes up in the air, in the water.
You're just reifying your belief, and this is what's even funnier.
Reify.
Well,
How is it
listen, dude.
reification? I'm not doing anything abstract and turning it.
Yeah, because you have a
concrete.
concept. You have a concept of gravity in your mind, and you are attributing concreteness to it, and just assuming it's true by treating the concept as
to
if it's
assume
actual.
anything, because I know that it's exclusively an effect based on mass and not electromagnetism, as you pretend. You absolutely cannot use electromagnetism to explain anything that gravity explains. You can't.
I never
do it.
said electromagnetism. There's a downward electric current on the Earth. This is actually another falsification of the globe. We have a
Electricity
uniform.
and magnetism are not part of the same thing. What do you mean, not electromagnetism?
We have a vertical electric field on the Earth, and it has a 100 volt per meter increase. It's
Mhm.
100 volt per meter increase. Listen to this.
potential increase. It's a vertical
dissipates
electric
with
field. It's a vertical electric field, and it's uniform. And so we have 100 volts per meter. Now
not
that's
uniform.
impossible.
It's not
That's
uniform.
impossible. Yeah,
It's not
It,
uniform.
does it increase 100 volts per meter?
No, it dissipates with elevation, which is why Felix can't be falling down due to electromagnetism.
Does the
100 volts per meter. So, what, the average person's about 2 meters tall. At the top of your head, you got 200 volts. Are you there? I'm not hearing you.
does it increase 100 volts per meter?
For like 100 meters. And then there's the
No.
dissipation.
No, your
Yeah,
model
if you go
claims
way
it gets
up,
up to like 50
electrostatic field
miles.
isn't there. Okay, look, even if whatever
You're
you
so
want to say
wrong
with
about
that,
everything.
why doesn't anything fall up, Austin? Why doesn't anything fall
Professor asking why things don't fall up. I mean, does it get more ridiculous?
up?
I
Yeah. Why doesn't things fall up? That's what he's asking.
So in reality, everybody, the sphere Earth doesn't have an up or a down. It's relative, right? So it's a ignoramus statement again, non-equivalent.
Yep.
It's both attractive and repulsive, right? So some things are attracted to the Earth. Why isn't anything repelled from the Earth? Why doesn't it fall up to the other Gaussian surface or whatever you want to talk about? Why doesn't anything fall up?
So first of all, so radial distribution of a sphere would not allow you to have equipotential parallel surfaces that are 100
Why are
volts
you
per
jumping
meter.
away from my question? Why doesn't
No,
anything
100 volts per meter. I mean, get out of here. At the top of Mount Everest. I mean, how many meters is Mount Everest? Is it like 100,000 volts up there? 200,000 volts? I mean, that's going to be a lot.
I'm finishing my point, and then I'm just letting the audience hear the conclusion of the point.
Let him answer.
So that's the conclusion of the point that Dave previously avoided, which is that radial distribution of a sphere could not replicate what we have on the Earth. But you said, why don't things go up? You mentioned my middle school experiment, or whatever you called it, right? Where I actually made something lift, and I did it with iron filings. I did it with multiple different materials, even insulators. So
A little styrofoam ball, right?
you said that doesn't count, and I can't make big objects.
Yeah,
I
why
can't make
Probably
big
put a
ob-
magnet
okay.
in it.
Hey,
Did
look,
you know?
Just saying, I don't trust any of these things.
Yeah, well, I mean, electrostatic charge, you know what it's like if you rub a balloon against your head, right?
Yeah, you get a little shock.
That physics
the
scales.
bigger an object is, the more charged particles there are in it, right? So the effect should be greater. Why can't you do it with a rock or a person? Why don't we see anything fall up ever?
Again,
Fall up.
never seen a mountain pull a pebble to it, is the truth. That's he believes in. And the magnetism thing is actually what they're going to turn into to state that gravity's real. That's what they're going to do. Even though the Curie point of the supposed temperature of the center of the sphere it's not magnetizable. It's too hot.
Dare bring up, because that is a point of contention, right? Of that matter attracts matter, right? That disproves gravity, right? Like I'm a very large fat man, very attractive young, but not young. Why did I say young? That's
What?
creepy. Very attractive thin women are often attracted to me.
What?
But the
Why would he say that on live debate time?
Yeah.
Young thin women. What did he? Let's hear it again. I mean, that was really. I mean,
Yeah, this is really, really
people, you gotta
bad.
watch out. Make sure your kids aren't watching this guy. Keep this guy away. This guy needs to be investigated by Mr. Robot. If you're listening, all you hackers out there, please, someone help me. Take this. You
right,
gotta
that
look into
disproves gravity, right? Like I'm a very large fat man, very attractive young, but not young. Why did I say young? That's
very
creepy.
attractive
Very-
young women are attractive. This guy's married.
Yeah. Yeah. So he says. So he says.
I
attractive
get
thin
such
women
bad
are often
vibes.
attracted to me. But
What?
the
That's
let's actually
gravity.
not go down that. Let's not go down that road. It's probably too complicated. I want to let
Too
Because
complicated.
everything's electrostatic. It's way stronger than gravity's claimed to be.
yeah,
but they shield for
If
electrostatic.
you have a lot of questions like that, it's like, we can have a conversation in the future, man, whether it's streamed or not.
That's
How
maybe
come
down
nobody
the-
called
it's
him
maybe
out
down-
on that statement? So, and okay, the Cavendish experiment is ridiculous, right? If you go to universities and high schools, if they have it, it's sawn in half, the device. So Cavendish supposedly looked from outside. Okay, he hung again. These guys and their stupid balls. Okay, they got the sphere Earth and a bunch of ball universe, and so they needed two balls. He hung them from his shed from a beam. He hung two lead balls and he went outside of the shed and he put a window in it and he supposedly looked through a telescope and he said that he saw the two balls pull themselves closer together. And from that observation, he can tell you what Mars weighs and the entire universe. Right? That's the Cavendish experiment. And that's all that they have to go by when they're teaching you about gravity. That's their go-to, the big G, right? And it's all nonsense. It's not even observable in reality. Nobody's ever done it. No one has seen a rock roll up a mountain. No one has ever seen any proof of gravity in the way that they explain it in any way. And why he was able to make that more disgusting of a phrase, of a statement. I'm a fat man.
Yeah.
And skinny, young, attractive women are attracted to me.
He did say that.
Something doesn't add up there.
And then Witsit's saying we can have that conversation some other time. We don't have to have it right. Yeah.
I mean, what, like,
privately, I think you
call
mentioned.
him on that and ask, hey, like, red flag, bro. That's, those young, attractive women are someone's daughters. I mean, what is going on with these people that we're covering here?
Look at the look on his face too. The sheep hat.
Yeah, someone, Mr. Robot, please. Where's Elliot when you need him? Help us.
Counterclockwise versus clockwise. You have yet to answer that.
He's going all the way
you need to
back.
determine.
Just so the viewers know, hold on. You guys are both being really great, by the way. Like, you're being very respectful, and I appreciate that. Dave, I believe, is going back to his literal.
The first thing I said.
The very
First
first
thing
he said. Yeah, the globe.
Wow. Star rotation.
I tried to answer it the first time he asked it. He interrupted 7 times. I've answered it 3
If I
times.
look in a different direction, it'll magically spin the other way. That's not how things work.
no,
If you put
I
a clock
said
on the ceiling, it's
specific-
going to go clockwise no matter which way you face. Sorry,
I
buddy.
said that we see, this does require usually some visualizations to understand it. We see in a little dome. It's called an azimuthal grid. You can go to Stellarium. That's how we map the stars. We have a zenith position, an azimuth position, and we measure elevation angles. When you do that 360, it gives you a dome. That's how we view the sky. NASA themselves have articles talking about how we see the sky to be a dome. We have an equidistant limit of vision. It's like a little dome. If you were to replicate that with a bunch of spinning stars and you looked out towards the edge of this dome, it's going to make them look like they're converging and spinning around the central point, even though they're literally not doing that. We have replicated.
No. So this is where David Weiss used our model to attempt to explain this, but that has the luminaries rising from and setting into the ground. So you can't use it. None of you can use it unless if you're going to say that we're in a virtual reality, because that's the only way you can explain the sun, moon, and stars rising from Earth and setting into Earth around each observer equidistant. That's the only way.
It.
How does it spin the
Therefore,
other way
we
in the
would
other hemisphere?
expect to see it just like crepuscular and anti-crepuscular rays. When the sun's setting in the west, it'll look like.
See, that's another debunk. The anti-crepuscular are the rays that are shining upwards, which means that the sun has to be below the clouds. Another huge AE map model debunk, because that keeps the luminaries, that model does, 3,000 miles up. So you would never have anti-crepuscular rays.
Like it's in the east at the same time, and the rays will converge to a point, even though it's just based on perspective.
Okay.
That isn't objectively a viable answer for the star
It
trails.
is not a viable answer. You're just saying words like crepuscular and perspective to appease flat earthers who have no idea what you're talking about, because you can.
No, we know exactly what we're talking about, and the anti-crepuscular rays are the ones that debunk the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome.
Not answer how things rotate counterclockwise in one hemisphere and clockwise in the other.
You know what anti-crepuscular?
Yeah, we can actually show you exactly how they work to the 100th of a degree per second. You can't.
Rays are
Explained perfectly by this model.
Nope.
You know what anti-crepuscular rays are?
Well, what? Tell me what they are. Go ahead.
So you called it word salad, but it's just that you don't understand the terms.
It doesn't
Okay,
matter,
so-
but you're just taking it's a jumble of words. It's not that each word doesn't mean something. It's not just literal gibberish and syllables. You're taking words that are words and putting them together to make a salad, like your lettuce and your croutons and your things like that. That's why I tell you of yum yum word salad. You cannot explain what is can you concede that this makes perfect sense visually, intuitively, just spatially? Can you at least concede that this makes more sense than what you're saying?
No. I mean, I would say that if it is exactly south, yeah.
All right, let's jump ahead to. We're getting close to the end here.
Just a quick question. Jason, do you know what Magic the Gathering is?
No.
So I don't know if anybody in the chat or anybody can comment in the future that knows what this. So this quartering guy he comes out of this camp. I guess it was created August 5th, 1993. The Magic Gathering, colloquially known as Magic or MTG, is a tabletop and digital collectible card game created by Richard Garfield. So this guy is a major character inside of Magic the Gathering. This is a full-grown man. Plays with cards with spells, defeating other characters, fantasy role-playing like Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, what kind of a character are we really dealing with? Has anybody that's in here ever played this game? It just seems really weird for me. That's where the quartering guy, I think, got his big fame from, maybe.
Oh, wow. So let's listen to, he's going to do a little setup here.
Nights, but I wanted to pick some that I thought.
Can we do like a 60-second closing or something at some point?
Absolutely. I'll do a 2-minute, and then because, well, you guys, should we coin flip for who goes last? It's like a criminal trial, right? So generally the prosecution goes last. But I'll just say
I'm indifferent.
Okay. Well, then we'll let Dave go first.
What?
So yeah, we'll let Dave. No, he says we'll let Dave go first.
Okay.
So then let's go to 139:24.
That, and I want to give you guys both. What do you think? 3 minutes to go out on?
I mean, I need like 30 seconds. I don't need it.
Okay, all right, 2 minutes to go out on. And since I think Dave, you went first, leading in, we'll let Austin go first, leading out. But I want you both guys to know.
So Dave got to go first when it opened.
Yep.
And now Witsit has to go first in closing, which means that Dave gets the final word, right? Which is what you want to have in any debate.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the first and the last comment.
So absolutely horrible. But here are the two closing comments to this debate, everyone.
No, I'll have you back on any time you want. This was a blast for me. Like, I know that chat, I know they enjoyed it. Obviously, both of you hope to educate people, but for me, I'm a loser entertainer, and I know everyone was entertained. So if everyone had a good time, please support whoever side you want. And I will read everybody's chat.
In the false dichotomy.
You can either go Professor Dave or you can go Witshit. And he doesn't care as long as you don't choose the third option, which is correct.
That's after I let these guys off the hook because they've got more important shit to do. So Austin, I will give you the floor. I will shut off my camera and give you 2 uninterrupted minutes. Plug whatever you want. Let people know where to find you. Watch your content, and then we'll go to Dave, and then I will stay on and respond to all the other stuff. If that's okay with you guys. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
Actually time it. So, the default position is that the Earth's a stationary planet. It's what we all experience. Could, in theory, the Earth be a spinning globe? Sure. Whenever you
Could Earth be a spinning globe? Sure. That's how you close your flat Earth debate. Come on, that's the worst closer ever. Sure, it could be a globe.
point at the sky and say, look, it matches the globe, it's very ignorant because we made the globe model from the sky. We took observations and reverse engineered the way that we see the sky and assumed the Earth's a sphere. Of course it matches. That's how we made it. And it didn't match for hundreds of years. It had to constantly be updated, still being updated. Relativity is the most verified theory ever. Isn't true at all. 1933, Fritz Zwicky saw the galaxy cluster only had 1% of the mass it needed to actually keep the galaxies from escaping. That means it was missing 99% mass. That's called dark matter. It was originally called missing mass. It's still a major problem. Relativity can't even predict things on the quantum, local, or cosmological scale. It's been falsified with things such as anisotropic light propagation, meaning light's actually in a variant, it changes, etc. So a lot of these things are a bit more complex. I encourage people to go actually look at my channel or Ether Cosmology and listen to us break down.
Ether Cosmology. This is the made up nonsense that they were arguing about back at the turn of the 1900s. Ether is made up nonsense. This is the crap that Blob Nodell was talking about with it measuring with his ring laser gyro.
Einstein's papers, and you can hear him say it. Look at the tests that falsify this stuff. But this is the part that's very important. Falsifications independent of replacement. We were all told that the Earth's a spinning globe. It's very easy to mock and ridicule people that are much more informed to diligently research and actually go out and do tests in real life than actually look into it for yourself. I get it. But just calling them names, appealing to consensus or whatever doesn't matter. This is a crazy conversation. And actually what we have proven for step one is that the Earth is stationary, and that's been done with interferometry. And so even Einstein admitted that if the interferometry
So interferometry is what the ring laser gyro works off of, and that's what Bob said he was able to measure the 15 degrees of rotation of the ether. All right, so the ring laser gyro, if it's just sitting there, it records no movement. When you move it, it records the movement. So Blob Nodell actually had it sitting on a lunch tray, unfixed, and you could see it rotating, the actual housing of the unit with his thing that ended up in behind the curve. So bad news here, Witsit, referencing interferometry.
Measurements were correct, that his entire theory is wrong and the Earth is stationary, effectively being the implication. We have verified that the interferometry changes with altitude, periodicity, etc. Long story short, it has been proven that the Earth is stationary. It is therefore in the center of the universe. All observations.
Earth's the center of the universe again. Again. Not stopping with that.
What is outro?
Ever showed that the globe claims everything is actually an illusion. It just looks like the Earth's in the center. It looks like the Earth is flat, but it's really not. Everything is just an illusion. So I encourage you to inform yourself about it, because you can't really be confident in your position until you actually know what your position is. And the vast majority of people don't even understand the globe model, so they actually don't know what they believe in. So that's really the only reason I do this.
So he's encouraging people to go study the globe model.
This is to encourage people to at least inform themselves about what they believe before they're so confident in it.
Thanks, Austin. Thanks so much, dude. Dave, lead us out. I'll stay on live after Dave's final
here. Hold on. Hang on. Hold on. Get the... that was his close. Go and study the globe.
Yeah.
Geocentric globe. I mean... Anybody tuning in here, okay, if you just showed up for now, you don't have to see anything else to realize that your top world flat earther led out of his debate
talking points with study the globe and it's geocentric.
Yeah, just
in a geocentric universe.
Yeah, know what you believe was his big closer.
I can't believe that I had to unmute. I was trying not to talk and rant. I mean, wow. How could you not at least show the claims? Do I have to go through them again? The mechanics and properties of water. You put your cell phone on the ground, you walk away on a flat building, you're going to see less and less of your legs. It's not due to curvature. Your circle of sight is how far you can see, and anything that goes beyond the vanishing point, you can't see. It has nothing to do with curvature. Using an unassisted gyroscope to fly around the sphere of the Earth, you would need to see it process 360 degrees if you were on a sphere. If you don't lead with these things, if you don't end with these things, the fact that we've never seen the was it the Michelson-Morley failure? Where he brings up stuff that we don't have anybody actually verifying. So for me, that was got to be the worst. Did he do worse? Nah, Jaron still owns the record for the worst ever. Well, him and the guy that debated Reds, Jeffrey, what was it? Grupp. Mark Sargent called him the smartest flat earther. Yep. That might be worse than Jaron's debate. There, but I mean, so everybody, I'm gonna mute after this. I just want everybody to see, if I was in Witsit's position, how could I not bring up the globe debunks and the flat Earth proofs in my outro? I would not talk about globe geocentric universe.
Yeah, he just says go research it.
Cool. No, he's absolutely wrong. The default position is that the Earth is a sphere, and as predicted, he chose to obfuscate by going to relativity and Einstein and all these things, which are not helpful. Since antiquity, we've known that the Earth is a sphere. All observations demand that the Earth is a sphere. He was absolutely incapable of answering this. He just did a thing about, if you look in a different direction, it's going to spin the other way. Doesn't make any sense. Was totally unable to explain this. Utilize magnetic declination. Again, these positions are nowhere near the magnetic pole, and so the idea that they could just suddenly all be looking in the same direction because magnetic declination. I'm sorry, David Weiss. I'm sorry, Austin. This is not sufficient explanation. Day and night regions of illumination. All we got was a little toddler, shine a light on a thing where there's supposed to be a dome, even though there's not actually any dome, and the sun's going to be outside, or is it going to be inside? Doesn't make any sense either. South Pole, come back to that again, day and night. Southern Hemisphere, we did not get to any adequate explanation of how this route is possible. He just said, they go really fast. I don't remember what he said, some wind or something. And we definitely have absolutely no explanation for this Antarctica Cup ocean race. These boats are not going all the way the entire world, turning the opposite direction of where they are actually turning. So I think that was pretty fun. I think we managed to stay away for the most part from the esoteric aspects of modern physics that Austin likes to spew his word salads about, and we stuck for the most part to things like gravity and things falling. So it was somewhat productive, but I do look forward to Austin going to the South Pole.
Hell yeah. I'll go with you, bud.
Seeing the 24-hour sun, and then I can't wait to see his video saying I now believe it's a sphere, and then we can be rid of this idiotic flat Earth disease forever, hopefully. Maybe in 1,000 years it'll come back somehow. I don't know.
Gentlemen, you both killed it. You're both incredibly entertaining and very respectful. And
that was it. That was the closers. So that was horrendous. That was an absolute false dichotomy.
They did murder it. They did. Both of them murdered their positions very well.
Yeah, but while trying to support each other at the same time in a totally scripted narrative that is wound into the final experiment, because now all of a sudden, the conclusion is Witsit's going there, and if he sees a 24-hour sun, he's going to come back and say, we're on a globe, right?
Geocentric one. That is actually gravity and everything that works due to electromagnetism and static force. So I got really exciting news, everybody. So it's not that big. Don't get too excited. Friday, we're planning a banger of a podcast. We're gonna go through Jaronism and Jake the asshole, who Jake's trying to insert him back into the narrative, but it's gonna hurt this time. Every time that he does this, it hurts more, because all the screenshots, all the evidence, all the stuff we've been documenting right from the start is really damning against him and Jerry Boy, Jezzy Jerry, clown show that went live. He seems to go live when we go live now, just to try to draw viewers away from us. Nothing new under the sun with Jezzy Jerry. And we're going to show you how much of a liar he is. Just outright blatant. These guys, Jake and Jaren, they're buddies. They're in the same area. Jaren, they both lied. Jake said that he didn't know Jaren. And then in another sentence, he'll say that Jaren loved him and wanted to have him on his show. Right? So we're going to show you all the lies, Jason. I'm really excited. And I think there's going to be more, right? More added into that. We'll see. I've got a video up and coming. I'm starting to work on dealing with the supernatural virtual reality, where we're gonna actually Doofus Duffy said that if you show me evidence of a virtual reality, of course I'm going to believe it. Well, Will, there's lots of evidence, lots of it, and we're going to keep continuing to smash you upside the doofus head with it, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have brand new music. I'm super excited for Friday, so make sure you tell your friends, get your popcorn, get comfortable, and we're going to have a really fun time on Friday night.
Yeah, it'll be great. I've got 2 new videos that I'm planning on working on, and yeah, so Jake the Asshole's become so irrelevant and nobody's talking about him. He's really pushing while he's trying to steal our model, and we're not going to let him do it. So we'll be covering all that.
Well, he's not trying to steal our model, everybody. He doesn't have one. He doesn't have anything. No evidence for anything. He's just going to say virtual reality and then start singing and being a retard.
That is true. That is true.
It's really fun.
All right. Well, hopefully the intro song wasn't loaded correctly. We'll see when we go to the outro if I got to reload the outro song. But yeah, brother, where's the only place people are going to get this content?
You're only going to see this on the Yahawashai News Networks.
What matters most is that these 2 gentlemen spent Saturday evening with me, 3 dudes on a date on Saturday night. We obviously could have been out there slaying puss like incredible chads like we are. But do I dare bring up Cavendish? Do I dare bring up, because that is a point of contention, right? Of that matter attracts matter, right? That disproves gravity, right? Like I'm a very large fat man, very attractive young, but not young. Why did I say young? That's creepy. Very attractive thin women are often attracted to me. But the let's actually not go down that. Let's not go down that road. It's probably too complicated. I want to let people.
Yeah, because everything's electrostatic. It's way stronger than gravity's claimed to be.
Yeah,
but they shield for electrostatic.
If you have a lot of questions like that, it's like, we can have a conversation in the future, man, whether it's streamed or not.
It's maybe down the rabbit hole too far.
Flat Earth pilots, ask any pilot if the Earth is flat, they'll laugh in your face.
I know.
They all take great circle routes. They take great circle routes that are.
Can a circle exist on a flat Earth?
My wife is a pilot.
No, a great circle.
Does anybody want to talk to me? My wife's a pilot.
Yeah, the MSG thing. Bring her in.